a welding jar.
That's fine. That's not the worst.
Not the worst.
Nick up to 22 right now. He draws Boros Reckoner for the turn. Yet another 3-drop.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that awkward mishmash of...
just getting his hand a little clunked up. He's not able to double spell here. So he passes...
Holding up Kolaghan's command.
Yeah, holding up Kolaghan's command can kill whatever creature is wielding the plating and maybe also kills the Torpor Orb. Or just kills the plating.
I'm like pretty tempted to just kill plating here.
That's fair.
Alright, Nick gonna immediately block the Ravager. Yakov says that's fine. He's gonna modular onto the Ornithopter. Nick gains 2 up to 24. Like, you could Kolaghan's command to, like, in response here.
So here, yeah.
Yeah, I like just killing the plating, like especially with a Inkmoth Nexus out.
And he gets back Nighthawk.
I like that. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and he drew the Talisman here, so he can go Talisman plus one of his 3-drops.
Yep. Yeah, because he really wants to hit 6 mana at basically ASAP.
Yeah.
So he can start playing multiple 3-drops per turn. Yakov, maybe a slight misstep there would have been. I guess, yeah, he was able to activate his Seagate Wreckage end of turn, right?
He could, no, he didn't have the mana end of turn.
He had, it's 2.
It's 3.
Oh, it's 3, okay, sorry.
He can do it now, though.
Okay.
Alright, Miracle Bonfire, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, forgot about this. Take that, take 2 more, down to 10, Nick's at 26, you can go.
Yikes. I think Affinity might be in trouble this game.
Well, Yakov also got a little trouble here. He didn't respond with the Seagate Wreckage, so now his Mox Opal's turned off.
Oh boy.
Nope. I got it.
Oh, it might be too late. Yeah, so Mox Opal there was not active, actually, because Metalcraft was turned off after the creatures died, unless he announced that he was animating one of his lands. I think our players have resigned themselves to understanding that things are too far gone now. A full turn has passed. A turn cycle has passed. Too far gone?
Yeah. It's regular Ariel. If this was competitive Ariel, he gets Thought Seized.
Wow.
Or the Perish of Thought.
Uh-huh.
You shuffle one in. Alright. What'd I miss? Did I miss an attack? Did I miss anything?
You missed nothing.
Nick untapping and drawing.
Yeah, Yakov played a land and passed.
Still has 1 card in his hand then?
Yes, he does.
Nick up to 28 now.
It's interesting. I wonder what that card could be.
I have to think it's a land.
Oh, because, yeah, he's stuck with only being able to play 1 land per turn.
Yep.
Yeah. Because anything else could have been cast.
Yep. Nick taking 1 here to cast Boros Reckoner, and then casting Liliana Heretical Healer.
Threatening gain more life.
Yakov drawing Etch Champion here. Yeah, he drew Island.
Etch Champion, pretty solid draw.
It's fine.
1...
Although it doesn't actually deal with any of the things here.
Yeah, Yakov is pretty close to just dying to Nighthawk beats.
Let's see if we just miracle another bonfire here. No.
That would be good. Torpor Orb still shutting off the Gary in Nick Gajari's hand.
Yeah, I get it. I see what you did there. All right, so Boros Reckoner plus... So it gets to redistribute the 2 damage, right?
Yeah. Connor 2257. I think Seagate Wreckage is a pretty standard one of an Affinity sideboards at this point.
Sideboard or main deck? I've seen it in both.
Yeah, there's usually 1 in the 75. So I wouldn't be too shocked by that. I think it's pretty solid in the Affinity deck in these grindier games.
All right, Yakov playing a Vault Scourge here, just trying to stay alive. He can't really beat any spell that Nick draws.
Yeah, I imagine, like, trying to envision a way that Yakov can actually pull back in this game. I would think that it involves putting Cranial Plating on Inkmoth Nexus. Because the life race is just, it's way too far gone.
Seagate Wreckage also, by the way, a common a common main deck card in Lantern Control.
Ooh, okay. Good point. So modern staple, actually.
Yeah, I would go so far as to say it's a modern staple.
Maybe it'll be banned someday.
Oh,
colorless lands, very powerful.
Too powerful. You know what they say. All right.
Cloud Post is banned.
Of course. All right, Yakov going to blocks here. See if he can survive for a little bit longer.
Maybe someday Glimmer Post will be banned.
Someday.
I want to live that long.
I also want you to live that long. All right, Etch Champion going on Boros Reckoner. Oh, not sure about this. I mean, if he kills anything, yeah, I like this, a smaller creature on Boros Reckoner.
Yeah.
Nothing can eat the Nighthawk. Yeah, I like these blocks a lot. I think these are really nice blocks. This will shrink the Nighthawk, so it's gaining less life.
Mm-hmm.
It'll only make it so the Reckoner deals 1.
Yep.
The 1 will likely just go and kill... Is it going to go to Yakov, or is it going to kill the Scourge? That's the question. Oh, he could also pump the...
Yep.
Oh, he's going to pump the Ink Moth Nexus. That makes sense.
Okay.
Let's see what Nick does 1-2. I think he's going to kill the Vault Scourge, yeah. Kills the Vault Scourge. Gains 2 life up to 31. Gary and Etch Champion bounce. Blink Moth dies. Ink Moth dies.
Yep.
All right, now Yakov is just back to having Etch Champion.
Indeed.
And not much else. Let's see what he draws here. He draws Darksteel Citadel, so he can activate this. He can activate Seagate Record right now. Does.
Might as well. Draws
another land.
Ink Moth.
And I think now we're at Dead on Board stage.
Yeah. Just a Alpha Strike from Nick kills.
Yeah, no matter where Yakov block, he still takes 4.
Reveals land, and players move on to game 3.
All right, Nick taking that one down. 2 Bonfire of the Damned, the crux of that match.
Oh, yeah.
The hardcast 1 for 1.
The Izzet Staticaster mode.
3-mana Electrickery.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the Staticaster right there, given that it killed triple Signal Pest.
Yeah, if anyone missed that disgusting display.
Disgusting display, you say?
It was pretty great.
I didn't mean to rhyme right there, but I did it. I also, by the way, forgot to adjust players' records, so I am off my game in basically every way imaginable.
You're just so surprised by modern coverage.
That's got to be it.
Yeah.
I haven't done Modern in a while.
You're so used to watching Storm every other round.
I do love Storm.
Master Disaster, welcome to chat this fine evening.
Hello. Wonder how Yakov's going to change up his deck post-board. Honestly, I don't think many of his sideboard cards are too great outside of the Torpor Orb.
Yeah, Torpor Orb seems pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, it's not incredible. Like, just shutting off Grey Merchant is a relevant thing, but I'm sure it's not more than a one-of. So the incidental, like, what you're doing to your deck to play it is so minimal.
I could see any additional copies of Etch Champion coming in.
Yes.
Because, like, Affinity has kind of changed their configuration of main deck 3-drops in this Eldrazi world that we've been privy to in these past few months.
Yeah.
Like, playing a bunch of Master of Ethereums, trying to be way faster.
Both the versions that top-aided the Pro Tour when Eldrazi broke out had 4 Master of Ethereum.
Yeah, and the Etch Champions were resigned to sideboard or
nowhere.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. If the best deck has all colorless creatures, you would just want a giant idiot instead of a protection from colored creatures. So I think Etch Champion is due to make a pretty big rebound after Eldrazi is banned. We're just going to see more of them again.
I mean, if the format even gets grindier than it was even before.
Yeah.
You know, like,
that's excellent, yeah.
Blue control decks, slow blue decks have always had a problem with Etch Champion.
Yep. You need stuff, you need to either counter it, verdict it away, or race it.
Yeah.
Racing it is hard.
It can be pretty hard.
Yes.
Anytime it picks up counters from
Ravager or Steel Overseer.
From Ravager or Steel Overseer, God forbid a cranial plating ever gets on it.
Oh, if a plating's on it, yeah, you can just pack it in.
Dead.
Yeah, but yeah, Edge Champion's certainly at its best against Nick's deck. Yakov looked like he's pretty happy with his hand. Starts off with the Vault Scourge, paying 2 life. He doesn't have the fastest hand, it looks like. No, I don't think there's a Mox Opal or anything like that, but his hand looks pretty reasonable.
The hands with affinity that always are flashiest. Mox Opal has to be involved. Dark Steel or Springleaf Drum, and some 0 drops.
Yep, those always the ones where you play 5 permanents on turn 1 or whatever,
or 7 or 8.
Depends, and they're all good. All right, does Nick have an answer to this Steel Overseer? He does not.
Ooh.
It's just a pass back. I think we're gonna see Yakov just gonna jam the Etch Champion now. Yeah, he is. Immediately get a counter on that.
That seems fantastic.
Yeah, this is a really great start for him. I wonder if Nick has something like Shatterstorm in his sideboard. I don't think he does.
Shatterstorm could do it.
Damnation.
Does not appear to have the 3rd land.
Nope. And he's just going to discard a Demigod of Revenge to hand size.
Well, that's value.
I mean, yes, it is. Yakov drawing Spellskite for the turn. I think he's gonna go play Spellskite.
Spellskite protects Steel Overseer now from the first removal spell in theory.
Yeah, and this is gonna be
This seems
ton of damage.
Way too far gone.
7.
7. Yakov also gaining 3 off of his Vault Scourge.
Life gain not super relevant here, but the 4/4 Steel Overseer.
There's a land. Ouch.
Oh, and then a very late Vampire Nighthawk. I think that's going to get... Oh, and he draws the red source right on time to Galv Blast it. And he has Plating. I think this is just lethal this turn. Yeah. Oh, no, he doesn't have Plating. He has Torpor Orb and Master of Ethereum.
Getting the Death Touch Lifelinker out of the way seems great. And, yeah, Nick packs it.
This is not reasonable. Affinity having a very good draw here. Taking down Nick in 3 games. Nick in his black-red control deck. Mid-range, what did I call it? I think it's more of a control deck, but it's a devotion deck, kind of.
It is.
It's like black and red devotion.
It's like black-red bonfire.
Black-red bonfire. It's a different sort of deck than we've been seeing. Wow, I look really short right there.
Black-red 3s and 5s. Yeah, when we are talking about games, we mostly slump down below the cameras. Melt into our seats.
As low as possible.
Yeah, it's a better angle for viewing.
It's true. All right, should I go see? Yeah, last time when I went out there, that was the last match. That's why I didn't have another.
That one did take a little while.
Yeah,
but you might be able to find one.
Yeah, I think we'll be good now. There's like 25 minutes left or something.
Okay, yeah. And if you can't find anything, just scout for a good player to put on for next round. Thanks, Phil. I think Phil likes walking back and forth. He needs the exercise. Don't tell him I said that. Let's see. Gibbous asks, why play Jason Snapcaster when you can play Yawgmoth's Will and Bargain? Those cards are very good. And yeah, I don't really have a counter argument to that. I wish there was more vintage to be had. It seems like a fun format. I haven't been fortunate to play it too much myself. But yeah. AK Cracker asks, is Burn going to be great? I actually think Burn might be... Well, I think it's going to be better than it is currently. Eldrazi being less of a factor is good for Burn, because that matchup really seemed to push it out of the format, out of Tier 1. I think blue decks getting popular because of the unbans, potentially, might be a pretty fine thing for Burn. Typically fine against blue decks. The blue decks, though, are, in theory, getting more powerful, so they might... like a typical blue control deck's plan against Burn is to try to attrition as much as possible in turns basically 1 through whenever they can actually turn the corner. And Ancestral Vision plays quite well with that plan, just giving the control player the ability to pretty cheaply and almost freely just gas back up in the mid game, assuming they've survived that long. So that I think it seems like Burn should be fine. It might be that playing the creature heavier versions of Burn are maybe not great. If there are popular blue control decks with a lot of cheap removal, a lot of lightning bolts coming back into the format, might be bad for the Wild Nikotl version. It's one of my initial thoughts on the format, but I would assume that burn is still going to be competitive. Also asks, does burn play Ancestral Vision? Do Delver decks play Ancestral Vision? It's hard to say. It seems like Delver decks would probably play it. It is a little slow. I would assume that I'd want to be a more controlling blue deck to really get the payoff for visions. Sorry. But yeah, I personally have not played with the card much. I've played against it a lot, but in Legacy, where it's typically not being suspended, it's usually being cast for free off Cascade. So,
guess who is still playing?
Who is still playing? Dan Duan.
Correct. But he's playing against Eldrazi.
Ooh.
I believe it was colorless Eldrazi because I saw Matter Reshaper and Mutavault and Wastes.
That is a fair assumption.
Yeah. But they're going to game 3.
Cool. Should we jump down right now, or are they moving over?
They're moving over right now. We can hop down in a second.
Cool.
This is... I know that Alan Wu, who won the last Moto PTQ in Modern with this blue-white control deck, played against Eldrazi 9 times?
And he won the PTQ, meaning he won a lot of those matches.
11 rounds? Is that right? Is it an 8-round PTQ?
That sounds right.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
But I think,
so he played against it like all but 2 rounds.
Almost every single round. Why do people keep wanting to play bug decks? What is the appeal?
I like Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, that's my... How could you abandon Lightning Bolt?
Yeah.
Has no one played Lightning Bolt before?
It's very good with Snapcaster Mage.
Yes!
My experience with blue decks in Modern is the first 2 colors are blue and red, and then maybe you have a third color.
Frankly, I've played a fair amount of blue-white as well.
Okay.
And man, Snapcaster Mage is so much worse without Bolt. Jace is better without Bolt because the Jace Odysseus command interaction is real. That is a really good interaction.
It is.
But when Lightning Bolt is good, like Lightning Bolt is so good. I like it. I'm excited. I'm like very, very tempted to just play. I've built every flavor of Blue Red X already, including just Blue Red. And I don't know which version I like the most, but I like all of them.
Yeah.
They'll bring me some sort of joy.
I can see what happens at the Modern Classic
in Baltimore
on Sunday in Baltimore.
Yeah, I am tempted to see if we see a good showing by either Thopter Foundry decks or
Ancestral Vision.
Ancestral Visions decks, but yeah, it should be interesting.
Also curious to see if Reality Smasher and Thought Seer are still a major part of the format.
A lot worse when you can't mulligan to a Soul Land.
It's true.
All right.
Maybe you just put those cards in. You blend the deck with Tron.
Maybe.
knows?
Seen it before. All right, so it looks like Sorry, I have a lot of things wrong here.
So we have Dan Duan on the right playing the blue-white control deck that we saw in round 1.
Playing against Joe Stramalia.
Not surprisingly, so they're in Game 3 now. Game 3 has just begun. This blue-white deck, pretty glacial.
It's not the fastest.
So, not surprising that they are one of the last matches to still be playing.
Ooh, is this Reality Smasher?
AK Cracker.
Oblivion Sower.
Ooh, that is a fast Oblivion Sower.
Still get the triggers though.
You do. Oh God.
Oh,
that is 3
geez.
lands.
He finds an Urborg.
Yeah. So the flooded.
This land is still exiled, isn't it?
Oh wait, why?
No, that's Dan's land. That's Dan's land.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
The flooded strand, presumably not going to be able to add mana currently for Joe.
No, I think he'll need an Urborg for that to do anything.
Yeah, I don't think
Just
there'll be
getting-
anything to fetch.
But yeah, if he's able, if he has more Oblivion Sowers and can eventually get blue and white mana to attack with this Colonnade, that's pretty.
Ooh, there's the Urborg.
All right, so he has 1,000,000 mana this turn. He
Right
has
on time.
he has 2 temples. Yeah, because he had
9 mana.
Yeah, so here's
If
3.
it's an Eldrazi.
Just another Spellskite. Ugh. Spellskite, I think Spellskite is a trap in this kind of a matchup.
Yeah, it's another thing that gets verdicted.
Yeah, it's not good against Supreme Verdict. It's not really good against... I mean, like, it protects your guys from Path to Exile, but just getting swept away by a Wrath is not a good
It seems
place.
pretty unacceptable. Dan really needs an island.
Ooh, but he will take
Crucible.
Crucible of Worlds, play my Flooded Strand, go. Tapping out this turn because, I mean, if Joe had something good, he would have played the last turn.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think with the Shelter of Verdict, he's safe.
Ooh.
But this is... Ooh.
This is Ayabugan.
He is going to
cast the Thought-Knots here.
Well, that was pretty good. Cryptic, Elspeth, Verdict, Manaleek, Wall of Omens.
I imagine you have to take the Verdict.
Yeah, I also imagine so. I think this Ayabugan's going to get Ghost Quartered right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Verdict is out of here. That's 2 Verdicts gone.
It is.
Dan going to fetch here.
If Dan can get to 6 mana for Elspeth,
yeah,
it helps.
That's one way to put it. Wins the game is another way to put it.
Well, it doesn't flat win the game. I mean, Joe's going to be able to activate this eye pretty soon, isn't he?
Well, he could have activated it this turn, but he thought not it instead.
Yeah.
But Dan's just going to Ghost Quarter it and play Ghost Quarter for turn.
Ooh.
I think he's just going to... I don't think you can let him untap with the...
With the eye?
No.
Yeah, and Dan recognizes this immediately. Can Joe search for a wastes?
Yes. He does have a waste in his deck I saw from the previous game.
Nice.
I don't know if he has... How many copies? I would imagine 2 is the maximum.
Yeah.
In this deck, it looks very similar to the Channel Fireball version.
And now Dan has Cryptic at the ready. And a lot of life to play with, so he doesn't have to like aggressively use the Cryptic to tap down the team or anything.
He could even just like take a hit, like unless Joe starts with a creature here, he could just take this hit.
And maybe counter bounce.
He could try bouncing something. It's probably just going to get redirected to Spellskite.
Yeah. Probably drawing a card is just better. Help him maybe dig to the 3rd Verdict, or just dig to the lands for Elspeth.
Yeah, I think you're very happy taking four here. Going to 15 is not a big deal. You have tons of life to work with.
Yeah, actually, Dan doesn't. The combo of Crucible plus fetch land, Dan does not need to hit land drops.
No, also
find land drops.
At some point, he could just Ghost Quarter the Colonnade that Joe has
and
play that. It's pretty great.
Just needs exploration.
Oh, exploration. He can go off then.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dan going to draw for the turn. I think we're just on build up to Elspeth mode right now.
It seems very reasonable.
Like, hold up Cryptic every single turn and build up to Elspeth.
Yeah. Can play land from the bin.
Eventually, he could just minus the Elspeth as well.
So, yeah, Dan rethinking.
He has a tech
edge, too. Yeah, just plays the fetch.
I think playing the fetch is fine.
Seems fine.
I'm just holding up Cryptic here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, Dan can afford to take a hit or 2 more. Eldrazi, outside of Reality Smasher, not going to be presenting a ton of surprise burst damage.
Yeah, it was really just Smasher. I mean, if Joe has, Eye waiting, he could slow roll an Eye to activate and go fetch Smasher immediately and cast it, but I don't think he has quite enough mana to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He does.
He does, yeah.
He's 1 short.
That Oblivion Sower is pretty nuts.
I think this is the turn where you just try and bounce the Thought-Knots here on end step. You could bounce it. You could bounce, that's really the only option you have, because anything else gets countered by...
He just passes.
That is also fine.
Yeah. I think...
He also doesn't even need to crack this fetch land because of the Urborg.
Yeah.
Let's just play Elspeth.
Take down?
No. Absolutely not.
Take up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just go straight for the ult.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Also, this is the best way to protect against Reality Smasher.
It is. Just get higher loyalty.
The only way to protect against Reality Smasher. Minusing it, you just trade for Smasher and a card.
Yeah.
I don't think you need more cards. You have infinite cards. I think he's thinking about it, but I would be much... I would much rather plus here.
Oh, no.
It is round 2. This is round 2.
Yeah, this is
everything on the overlay is correct right now.
This is a second match that we're watching in round 2 because our first match ended early.
All right, Joe drawing for the turn. He's not drawing anything super exciting. Is that an All Is Dust? That's a good card. I did not expect All Is Dust at all.
Yikes.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Doesn't get the Crucible. Gets everything
Oh
else.
my god, he also has Reality Smasher in his hand, but he can't cast it this turn?
Not quite, but it's really close. All His Dust is a rude card.
Yeah. All His Dust is very good. Dan drawing Path for turn. Not horrible, but not great either.
Doesn't really do anything yet. Needs to get rid of these spell skites. The Thought-Knot Seer taking out the Verdict was so huge.
Let's see if he decides to start tech edging. Wall of Omens. I mean, just having a blocker this turn is pretty great.
I think Dan might have to start Cryptic tapping the team.
He's pretty close. He's got the mana to do it, so I think he's still very much in control of this game. He could just block this turn.
Yeah. A pre-combat Reality Smasher getting countered is going to be pretty gross.
Thought-Knot Seer, I think you definitely...
That also seems great. Just counter tap, I think. You could counter draw and shump with the Wall of Omens.
I don't mind counter tap here either.
Okay.
Let's see, I think he went counter draw. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this Reality Smasher? It is.
Jeez.
Swing with both. Split Dan to 2 here. He could Ghost Quarter himself to attempt a path and make Joe use 2 life.
I don't know what that accomplishes. It seems like he's basically just on Verdict or Bust. So blocks Thought-Knot, takes 5, goes to 2.
Man, if Dan finds a way to lose this game, that will be a little awkward. Seems like, I mean, he's flush with cards at this point.
He is, but none of his cards do what he needs them to.
He's got a lot of time walks right now.
He does. He has a lot. Yeah, I guess he has a lot of looks at a Verdict.
Ooh, is he gonna go? Oh, he thought about Ghost Quartering the Urborg, which is pretty tempting, just to take Joe off of a couple more mana. It really only takes him off 1 mana though. He's gonna go after a temple.
Also, yeah, it
and
would,
plays it for turn.
It would also take Dan off of the ability to use the Footed Strand without taking damage.
Yeah, which I think has some value at this point. All right. Dan gonna go tap your team, draw a card. All of them are tapped, including the spell skites. There's another Oblivion Sower. Let's see. Does Dan have a mana leak?
Does he care? Isn't he kind of all in on?
Do you want to hold the mana leak?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whoop. Oh, he hit 2 blue-white lands.
And there goes the 3rd Verdict.
So he has to Ghost Quarter. He has to Ghost Quarter probably the plains, right? There's a Matter Reshaper. 3 verdicts gone. Jeez.
Yeah, there's only 1 left.
That is.
Are there any Wrath of Gods?
I don't know. I mean, Elspeth is close to good enough. Close.
It does put him dead on board now if he did find Elspeth.
Dan needs to kill one of these blue-white lands, though.
Because, yeah.
It can get activated.
Yeah, Colonnade does not... Colonnade gets around Cryptic. I think Dan's screwed.
No, he could just kill one now.
Kill...
Either a Colonnade or the plains.
Sure.
He has Path. Not sure what... He has to do this now. I wonder what he's got going now. He's got another Cryptic.
Yeah, if he passes, then Joe just waits to activate.
Well, that's fine. Then you just Ghost Quarter it then. I guess this is still fine. It's not like he gets spell skited.
Yeah.
All right, Joe draws. Yeah, he wants to... So Dan gonna go Cryptic, tap your team, draw. He's just trying to find Snapcaster Mage, I think. Finds a land. Colonnade getting activated. I think Dan's just gonna Ghost Quarter it.
Seems
He's got
likely.
Ojutai's Command in his hand.
Dark Void Man, Colonnade.
It did.
What?
It did come into play tapped.
Yeah.
Alright, Dan gonna fetch here down to 1. Does this mean he's gonna Ochidize Command instead? It's honestly not the worst. I don't think Ochidize Command is getting much better, and you just need to dig deeper, and it draws him a card. He can go gain 4, get back Wall of Omens.
Yeah.
To fog this.
Mm-hmm.
So he draws a card off the wall. Takes 4, goes back down to... So it puts it, the gain 4 puts him up to 5. He takes 4 to go down to 1 here, and then passes back. Just needs to find a verdict. The fact that 3 verdicts have been exiled is particularly unlucky.
That's bad news bears for Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Draws Jace Vryn's Prodigy for turn. It's more cryptic commands, but not at the time that he needs them.
No, he needs Snapcaster Cryptics here.
Yeah.
Let's see if Dan can find a way out of this, or if Eldrazi's going to be his end here. I think he might just be dead.
Seems like it. Counts up the damage.
It's a lot, Dan. It's quite a lot. And you are at 1.
1 is not a lot.
Joe has 4 possible attackers plus the Colonnade. Dan only has 2 blockers and a path that's just going to get spell skited.
Yeah.
He can play... You can't play Jace and block and path and Ghost Quarter.
Nope.
Just checking to see. Man, he's gone through 3 Cryptics this game. Alright, so he plays Jace. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He hasn't Ghost Quartered yet. So I figure he's got a Ghost Quarter now. I think we're still a blocker short here.
Seems like it.
Plays Island and passes back to Joe.
Dan just hoping that Joe doesn't see it, I think.
I think he's hoping he doesn't spell skites.
Yeah.
I wonder if Joe just draw. Usually, whenever this happens, where you do a lot of math and you can exactly survive, they draw Reality Smasher.
Seems good.
Oh, a Pithing Needle.
Pithing Needle, probably targeting Ghost Quarter?
Could name Ghost Quarter here. I think Ghost Quarter is probably the best name. Jace is also a fine name.
Or Elspeth, if you want some insurance.
Yeah. A lot of good choices here. All right, so yeah, Dan's got to.
All right, so responding presumably to the Pithing Needle.
Probably
Ghost Quarter.
He only has to kill one of the Colonnades.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
He can.
actually,
I mean, you kill one.
he
then
can just
Joe
animate the
flip
other.
mana and animate the other. Yeah. I don't know if Joe needs that attacker.
Joe's a dismember, anyways.
Sure.
I think no matter what, Dan is dying here.
Seems very hard for Dan to survive. Joe just ships the dudes. No animate on the Colonnade.
A small misstep there by Joe.
It's possible.
I think he definitely wanted to get in there with that creature. There's 3 Cryptics down. Like, what are you really playing around?
I don't know.
The 4th, the Snapcaster Cryptic. I guess that's still a very reasonable thing. Dan
Yeah,
just doesn't happen to have it.
Does play around Snap Cryptic.
I mean, this is still lethal with 4 blockers, with 3
is.
blockers. Because Dan needs to hope Path resolves.
Yeah, everything needs, like, the Reality Smasher needs to be fully blocked or killed because of Trample, and Dan's only at 1. Does not seem like this is possible.
No. Double block.
The only way this there's nothing Dan can do here.
Dan just gonna attempt a path and hope it doesn't get spell skited.
But then he still takes the damage from the Mimic or whatever creature that's unblocked that he doesn't kill. Yeah.
Yep.
Just reveals his hand.
2 path. Ugh. And Dan, losing that game, I really thought Dan was locked in to win that, but getting 3 of his verdicts just exiled, 2 of them to just pure happenstance.
Yeah.
Both off Oblivion Sowers.
The Sowers did some work in that they exiled 2 verdicts, but they also gave Joe 4 lands,
Yes.
I believe.
And let him activate Colonnade too.
Yeah, I mean, that huge amount of mana allowed Joe to play that All Is Dust plus a follow-up threat. I mean, it looked like Dan was settling the board and taking control when he slammed Elspeth.
Yeah, I thought Dan was going to run away with that game when he played Elspeth.
All Is Dust, though, very powerful.
That was a beating. I just completely forgot All Is Dust was legal.
The card's insane.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't forget it was legal.
Greg got destroyed by that card in Grand Prix Detroit.
Yeah, I got knocked out in round 9. Not that I was in position to make a real run for anything terribly significant in that tournament, considering I already had 3 losses going into round 9, but it was a real great way to be sent off.
I gotta say, it felt pretty bad losing for losing round 9 of a GP in order to miss day 2.
Yeah.
It feels even worse now that 6 and 3 makes day 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it would have felt worse to make day 2 though?
No, I liked my deck.
Okay.
I would have liked to play day 2 at least, even if I wasn't going to cash. It's pretty hard to cash getting to day 2 at 6-3. You have to 5-1 and hope.
You have to 5-1 and hope or
6-0.
6-0.
6-0 and like min cash.
Yep. Isn't that what Kyle did?
No, I think he's 7-2 day 1.
Oh, did he?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
I think he went 5-1 on day 2.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will not miss what we just witnessed.
Did you happen to see any white creature decks?
Nope.
When you were out there, because Connor 2257 is very concerned.
I did not see any out there, unfortunately. No.
Is there a lot of Eldrazi? People trying to get a last use.
I think I saw like 2 Eldrazi decks or something like that.
Out of like 20 players?
22. 21, I think.
Okay.
No, 23. I miscounted 3 times. But yeah,
what was your degree in? Counting.
Yeah.
Counting.
It was counting. How did you know? Yeah, I think we have a couple. I think we have like a couple blue, white, red control decks. And then Jund, Merfolk. Oh, Tony's playing Tooth and Nail, which is always a joy. I love watching Tooth and Nail. I don't think I've ever seen him lose with that deck actually, which is pretty entertaining.
What?
Overgrowth, man. Overgrowth is great.
Good grief.
I don't know how good that deck is against control. Probably very poor. But there aren't any control decks right now. Although weirdly, we have a few here.
Blue white.
Any Amulet Bloom or Red White Twin? I'll check.
Amulet Bloom.
Yeah, Amulet Bloom.
Bloom.
Yes, Amulet is what he meant. Splinter Twin. No, none here. No Storm either. Not even if there was Storm. I'm sorry to say, I wouldn't feature it.
Why?
It is the least interesting deck to watch in Modern.
It's a lot. It's fun to play.
Yes.
I think.
Kind of.
You have to. It goes a lot slower than the Legacy version.
I think it's like really, really not fun to play in paper.
Okay.
I think it's much more enjoyable to play on Magic Online.
Yeah, I guess there are a lot of things you have to keep track of.
Yeah.
Resolving things with Pyromancer Ascension can get kind of confusing, easily messed up.
It's not true. No, it's just like more
repetitive.
Yeah, it's extremely boring. Like
Sure.
It's interesting in the sense that it's hard.
Okay.
Like I think that deck is often harder to sequence than Legacy Storm.
Yeah,
because you've
way
such
lower power.
Yeah, your deck is so much weaker.
You gotta work pretty hard for most of your wins.
Yeah, you don't have like you can't just like draw Brainstorm and kill your opponent.
Right.
Like your hand was okay. You drew Brainstorm. They're dead.
There's
they're dead
no
now.
Infernal Tutor.
No.
There is Past in Flames.
Past in Flames is very, very good. Like the deck is fine. I just I really don't enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
From a commentating perspective, it's just kind of miserable sitting there and being like, he's casting spells, he's casting spells, he's casting spells, he's casting spells.
Yeah.
And then after whereas in Legacy Storm, you have some interesting lines and a lot more interaction, and also you only need to count to 10.
Yeah, instead of 20.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you don't have to count to 20 because you have 2 grape shots.
Or you count to empty the warrens.
Yeah.
Count to 5 or whatever. But yeah, it's just not an interesting deck to watch in Modern, I think.
Sure.
That's a deck that, like, at least once every couple months, someone comes up to me and says that they think that Storm is really good.
It's round 3.
Yes. That's what it sounds like. Oh, we got pairings.
Round 3, thank you. Do
Tony.
you know who we're watching?
I bet Tony is 2-0.
Yeah.
We're watching Tony.
Okay. And you said he's playing Tooth and Nail.
Whew.
Connor 2257. I don't know. I don't think we have any Delver tonight. I haven't seen any of that locally in a long time. I would say common decks that show up for our modern tournaments. There's often a lot of Merfolk, Affinity, Burn. Really the popular decks, I guess, of the current metagame. A lot of Snapcaster decks. I guess a lot of the quote-unquote better players in the area gravitate towards Snapcaster decks for the most part. There's not a ton of Eldrazi. I think people have been scared away either from acquiring those cards or they just don't want to be the bad guy, maybe. I know we have at least one copy of Abzan Company. We can see how Nick is doing with that. Nick Wild is 1-1 with Abzan Company, so we might get to see that at some point. See, Vincent Adinolfi is 2-0. He usually is playing some sort of Snapcaster control deck. Sam Ives, I assume he's playing Jund.
Of course.
What was he playing?
Naya Collected Company. He doesn't listen to me when I tell him I don't like that deck at all.
I'm not the biggest fan.
I hate it.
If I'm going to play Collected Company in Modern, I want there to be a combo in my deck.
Just kill him!
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess around with fair stuff. Alright, what does it look like? What's going on here? Ooh, is this... I think this might be like the Abzan, the green-white little kid deck.
Ooh, with a bunch of Wiltleaf Lieges.
I'm checking...
Ooh, I see a Siege Rhino.
Yes, it is, yeah. It's just Abzan aggro.
Yeah. So Siege Rhino, Voice of Resurgence, Path to Exile, some of the cards in Jackson's hand.
This is a deck that broke out when Jacob Wilson top 8 the pro. Xenagos the Reveler.
And Emrakul?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
And then you attack for 30 and annihilate 6.
That sounds good.
It is very good. It's not an infinite kill, but it's basically an infinite kill. Like if Company goes infinite life and you just untap and just do that, you probably win if you have more cards in library than them. Actually, you definitely win if you have more cards in library than them.
Yeah, because they're not going to be able to do anything.
They'll never have another permanent.
Yeah.
Unless they can actually... No. Unless they untap and have 2 lands and can Shriek Maw your Emrakul, but then you could probably just, Tooth and Nail again the next turn.
Yeah.
Because it needs to have... It has haste.
Right.
But yeah. The deck is sweet. I've only... As I said, I feel like I only see Tony win with it. Mm-hmm. So... It's always exciting to watch. Let's see who else. Did Houtman drop?
Seems like it.
Okay, I guess he went 0-2.
What was he playing?
Naya Collected Company. He doesn't listen to me when I tell him I don't like that deck at all.
I'm not the biggest fan.
I hate it.
If I'm going to play Collected Company in Modern, I want there to be a combo in my deck.
Just kill him!
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess around with fair stuff. Alright, what does it look like? What's going on here? Ooh, is this... I think this might be like the Abzan, the green-white little kid deck.
Ooh, with a bunch of Wiltleaf Lieges.
I'm checking...
Ooh, I see a Siege Rhino.
Yes, it is, yeah. It's just Abzan aggro.
Yeah. So Siege Rhino, Voice of Resurgence, Path to Exile, some of the cards in Jackson's hand.
This is a deck that broke out when Jacob Wilson top 8 the Pro Tour with it. It's... an extremely fair deck.
It is.
It's almost exclusively creatures, as well as a few copies of Path to Exile. It's just like Voice of Resurgence, Lingering Souls, Siege Rhino, Wiltleaf Liege, Loxodon Smiter. It's very good against Jund decks, that's for sure. Tony gonna play 2 mana and play a Voyaging Satyr. I'll pull up Voyaging Satyr here.
Combo with Utopia Sprawl.
It's weird that it's sometimes correct to Path to Exile this guy. Because
it generates less mana.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. 1 extra land is less than... right now it's a soul land.
Right.
With, or it's a Jiraga Tree Speaker or whatever.
Yeah, and any future enchantments that get put on this forest just going to make Satyr even more insane.
Yeah, stuff like Overgrowth, or just more Utopia spells. I think Tony said he was playing some copies of Fertile Ground today, even.
So is Satyr the only creature that lets Tony do this in his deck? Or
Arbor Elf.
Arbor Elf. Untap target forest?
Yeah, Arbor Elf is just the better version of this because it costs 1 mana.
Yeah.
This does let you untap Nykthos,
Sure.
but I don't really... That's not...
Doesn't come up too much.
No, I mean, if you're untapping Nykthos, you're probably winning. Like, having... I can't imagine he's playing 4 Voyaging Satyr. I think it has to be probably...
2 or 3.
Like 2.
Sure.
All right, Jackson gonna... Yeah, he is gonna path it. Get it out of here. And as we said, like this, the Voyaging Satyr is gonna produce far more than 1 mana.
Yeah, it's good awareness. I like it.
Tony's gonna pick up another forest off of this. His deck is almost entirely mono green. He has, I believe, he has Bolt and Blood Moon in the sideboard. Splashing Blood Moon is really nice.
Jackson did have to make a decision there of whether he wanted to play Voice of Resurgence or the Path.
Yes.
Opted for Path.
It is a little awkward that because he chose to fetch the Overgrown Tomb, he could have shocked himself on his end step if he really wanted to be mana efficient.
Mm-hmm.
He could have gone end step, fetch an untapped white dual land, path the Voyaging Satyr, untap, and then still had Voice in play.
Yeah.
So not getting that creature into play early might end up hurting him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is a matchup, I think, where your life total you're going to be using pretty freely. You just need to be as fast as you can.
Yep. And here's Garruk Wildspeaker coming in and immediately untapping 2 lands, including the one with Utopia Sprawl on it, then 4 more mana
That's scary.
for Harmonize. Good lord. 1, 2, 3. Never mind. He has at least 3 Voyaging Satyrs in his deck because he drew 2.
Yeah, looks like Tony with a handful of air.
Yeah, nothing. No payoff card is what it looks like. Just a bunch of mana.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a 4/4. Big Stupid Elephant.
Yeah.
Big Stupid Elephant. Babar. Getting in there. Tony can put up a pretty strong defense, though. Yeah, he's just more mana here. He does have... I think he has 3 more Voyaging Satyrs in his hand.
It's Wild Growth that he drew?
No, he drew
What is that?
Overgrowth.
Overgrowth.
Wild Growth is not legal in Modern.
Can we pull up Overgrowth?
Gladly. Overgrowth, let's get the original version. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Overgrowth going out of the forest. There's
Woof.
Satyr. I think he has the 4th Satyr in his hand.
Can hard cast Emrakul next turn? Maybe.
And then just make a beast.
Is there a reason to put the Overgrowth on a different forest?
I don't really know.
Because, I guess it plays around, Flicker Wisp.
Yeah, I was going to say something like Flicker Wisp or Beast Within. I just can't think of anything that Jackson would have in his deck that would make me want to play around it.
Barring interaction like that, it would be better, more mana to put it on the same land.
Oh, yeah, especially given that he has Voyaging Satyrs. I think
Right.
Tony's reasoning is that I have effectively infinite mana anyways, so it barely matters.
It doesn't really cost you anything to play around those corner cases.
I don't think so. Tony this is right now sort of a classic ramp problem, is that you don't really have much going on here.
Tony's snap blocks, Path taking out the 3/3,
Tony can pick up another land here.
allows Smiter to eat the Voyaging Satyr. I think Tony fine with just letting his board buy time.
Yeah, this is just going to happen a little bit.
And this play also prevented Jackson from deploying his Siege right now.
That seems like a win.
Yeah. Tony just needs... he has the mana. He just really needs to buy time to find some payoff card.
Ooh, there's a Cinderglade right there off of the end step fetch on Windswept Heath.
Cinderglade, maybe just 1 copy,
Probably.
presumably.
He has a lot of basic force in his deck. He's
Right.
very, very light on the red mana.
It's just a dual land you can fetch in the mid-game when you're concerned. You can't take the shock.
Yep. All right, Tony gonna play another land. He's got another land in his hand, and there's the 4th Voyaging Satyr.
Oof.
Makes another beast and just passes back to Jackson. And his last card is just another land.
Yikes.
Yeah, Jackson's just drawn more spells.
Yeah.
Tony cast turn 3 Garruk into Harmonize, and then just drew more air.
Oh, yeah, he totally whiffed on the Harmonize.
Yeah, he has a lot of nearly like auto wins here.
Like Tooth and Nail.
Tooth and Nail is certainly just the game.
A kill, yeah.
Primal Command is close to good enough, I'd imagine. Just like Primal Command, putting something on top, getting Eternal Witness, getting back Primal Command.
Sure.
I don't know if there's a Primeval Titan in his deck, but I don't even know if it's even better than getting a bunch of Eternal Witnesses going.
Can we pull up Primal Command? Thanks, Phil.
No problem. Good old Primal Command. Ooh, this is the new art.
It is.
Get that one. There we go.
Jackson, thinking about his attacks here. If I were him, I would be very concerned about just getting my Siege Rhino into play.
Yeah, I mean, he has... That's the thing, though. He has, like, plenty of things to do with his mana, right?
He does.
He's got, like, another voice.
He has 2 more voices.
Oh, it's 2 more?
Yeah, 2 more voices and a path.
All right, so he's going to go... Is Tony going to go block the voice token and chump block Smiter? A little awkward here, giving Jackson the Elemental, because this can grow to pretty massive size.
Yeah.
Plus, this lets him Rhino pretty freely.
It does.
Rhino coming down. Tony drops down to 14. Jackson going back up to 20. Tony, once again, just looking for a payoff card. Let's see if he can find something good here. He just has a land in his hand, but a million mana at his disposal. Ooh, did he draw something good? He did not. He drew Arbor Elf. He has drawn 5 Mana Elves, 2 enchantments, and then just 2 4-drops. Everything else has just been pretty foul.
Mana.
There's a Pride Mage is an interesting draw for Jackson there. It's kind of tempting even just to go after the Overgrowth.
You could. It might be worth more as a creature for the voice token.
Yeah, it's possible. Not much more, I think.
It's
though.
not much more, but
Slightly.
right now Tony has access to like 18 mana, I think.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Just drawing Emrakul is fine.
I don't think it's fine. I don't think it will be fine.
Oh, it's great, you mean?
No, I think it's... I mean, not if he kills the Overgrowth.
That's true. Yeah, killing Overgrowth, I guess, does minus a lot of mana, considering all the untap effects.
Ooh, and yeah, he's got the 3rd Path to Exile for this beast here.
Are there any more basics? There are always more
there are
basics.
certainly more basics in his deck. He's got a billion.
There are a lot of hits left in this deck.
Oh, yeah. There are plenty of whiffs, too. Garrick finally biting the dust here. Voice of Resurgence coming down. All right, so he's going to go with Voice over Pride Mage here. We'll see if this ends up being something that he gets punished for.
There's Xenagos. Not the creature you want necessarily.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's actually 1 off of Devotion. I mean, Jackson has no more paths, which is at least good if he does draw another spell, but Tony's taking close to lethal next turn.
Yeah, for the multicolored gods, you need 7 devotion, is that right?
Jackson drawing Kitchen Finks for the turn. Just all these creatures, just dudes. That's all his deck is. I think he was double checking right now to make sure Xenagos isn't a creature. Pull up Xenagos the Reveler. Oops. Xenagos, other one.
Different Xenagos.
God of Revels.
Xenagos.
Xenagod, that's the one. 4 mana for Voice. Pride Mage, yeah, just make this elemental huge. Bigger. 10, 12. Yeah, he wanted to make it lethal.
Yeah.
This does make it lethal. Probably just chump block the elemental then?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to chump block both. Take 6, go down to 8. I think it's just, do we draw Emrakul here? Or Tooth and Nail?
Nope.
No, just drew another Overgrowth. Yep.
Yikes.
Tony drawing not particularly well that game. We're going to go to game 2 right now between these two players. Tooth and Nail versus Abzan Aggro. I mean, that was a bad draw. We've gone over that.
There was one part of the ramp deck was great. The ramp part.
Yeah.
The win the game part was not there.
Didn't seem to be available. Jackson does have access to some Thought Seizes. Looks like he has some Painful Truths in his sideboard. A lot of interesting options. I think these Thought Seizes are far and away his best option. Thought Seizes obviously going to be an all-star against the ramp special.
Yeah, for a deck that's main deck is basically built to beat fair decks, you kind of need these Thought Seizes in the board just to try to interact. Abrupt Decay also being able to take out like Overgrowth or Utopia Sprawl or any mana creature.
I think Abrupt Decay is more or less the better version of Path to Exile in this matchup. Like,
I agree.
Path didn't do anything super impressive there. Abrupt Decay does the same thing without giving them a land.
Mm-hmm. Voice of Resurgence is pretty unimpressive. I think Primage is fine. Kitchen Finks, yeah, that can get out.
I think Kitchen Finks is definitely worse than Voice. Lingering Souls I don't hate.
Lingering Souls goes quite well with Wiltleaf Liege for adding a lot of clock.
But doesn't like everything in the deck go well with Wiltleaf Liege?
Yeah, but it's +4 power.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a ground guy.
It is.
The evasiveness is worth something, I think.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, as we saw in that game, Tony was using Garrick to generate a bunch of beasts.
Just a stream of chump blockers in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But Jackson's creatures are just way bigger.
They are.
Just 3 mana 4/4s, 4 mana 4/5s, just giant idiots.
That is his advantage.
Yeah, this deck is really just. I think Brian Kibler called it Little Kid Abzan.
Yeah.
When they built it, because it's really not an Abzan deck.
No.
It's a green-white deck.
It is.
Jackson played one black card.
And it's Siege Rhino.
And it was Siege Rhino, which is, the most green-white card the most green-white Abzan card you can come up with.
Yeah, I agree.
If you thought you were done seeing Siege Rhino in Standard, don't worry. You can still play it here in Modern.
Yeah.
It's a good match card.
It's pretty good.
It is. Could you ever see yourself playing this Abzan aggro deck? This actually seems like a deck you would enjoy.
No, I like smaller decks.
You like smaller decks? Yeah,
I'm not really into 4-drops.
You're not really in... That's 4-drop creatures?
Except Master
I was going to say, Master Waves is definitely a 4-drop creature.
Yeah.
God, you have the absolute worst taste in decks. It's just, so petrified. I think, in general, if there was, a team-constructed format, you would be a detriment to every team.
I would...
Because you would want to play this...
I would play all the cards that no one wants to play.
That's not even true. You would ruin everyone else's decks. Because you need to play good cards in your deck still.
Maybe.
That's my worry. That's what you see.
I just pluck everything for myself.
It's like, Greg, we need these Mutavaults. Yeah, but they're really good in my deck. Greg, we could really use these paths. But I need them in my sideboard.
I can promise you that Mutavault would be better in my deck than anyone else's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can promise that.
Clearly you haven't played Fairies.
I want to play Fairies. I hope it's good. I would play that.
Man,
the tribal aggro control deck.
It's not an aggro deck. I don't...
You think it's just a control deck?
Yeah. I think
tempo?
it's...
a word?
I don't think it's a tempo deck. I think it's just a control deck.
Okay.
I don't know. That's maybe something that Paulo would have said, calling it an aggro control deck. But I think the Fairies that is in Modern is an aggro control is a control deck.
Okay, so
when
you have Scion of Una,
it can turn the corner.
Right.
Yeah, I hate Scion of Una. It's my main thing.
And as I said when you were out there, Scion of Una would be my favorite card in the deck.
Oh yeah, I cannot stand Scion of Una. I think Scion of Una is hot garbage.
Looks great to me.
Oh, what is it? It's a 3-mana 1/1.
I've never seen one of those. I didn't like.
God,
a 1/1 flyer.
I've forced everyone I know who's shown me a Fairies deck to cut that card. I don't even want to see it.
It seems really good with Bitter Blossom.
Really? Does it? You know what's good with Bitter Blossom?
What?
Anything. Literally anything. The cards you're already playing, specifically Spellstutter Sprite.
Yeah.
If you're not already playing 3 Vendilion clicks, then you're not allowed to play any copies of Scion of Una.
It seems like Fairies would maybe become a good deck, if other blue control decks get really popular.
Yes, that is the main I think impetus for leaning towards that.
Yeah.
Fairies traditionally just really beats up on those kinds of decks. The only blue decks I've ever felt favored against Fairies with are Geist of Saint Traft decks.
Ooh, okay.
But beyond that, it's felt very hard.
Okay.
I mean, they just Thoughtseize you into oblivion, and land a Bitter Blossom. And Bitter Blossom is just an outstanding card against control.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's where it sort of comfortably slots between these sort of archetypes is Bitter Blossom's spot in the deck.
Yeah.
All right, so Tony's gonna start with Utopia Sprawl into a Voyaging Satyr, and I don't think he has a second land here.
Oof.
He does have Overgrowth.
Has Tooth and Nail.
I wonder if Jackson has the Thermokarst for the land.
Thermokarst.
That's the green Stone Rain from Ice Age.
Good grief.
Don't worry, it's not legal.
Don't worry, Phil knew it.
All right, Jackson's going to go to 15 here. See what he has to use this mana with. See if we got an elephant. Big stupid elephant.
Turn 2, pretty good.
Tony missing on the land again. So make 2. Untap the land. Make 2 more.
Ooh, he has a Blood Moon in his hand.
That is okay.
It's not good against the Birds of Paradise.
Nope.
It is good against the rest of Jackson's mana sources.
Yeah, but Jackson's going to be able to land Siege Rhino this turn. He also has Wilt Leaf Legion in his hand.
Yeah, Tony just might be too far behind with this lack of lands.
I think so. Siege Rhino on turn 3? Come on. I think that's pretty rude.
Seems good.
Reminds me of Sylvan Caryatid days of
I'm
Standard.
A big fan of Jackson's Birds of Paradise choice.
Oh yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah.
All right, Jackson's going to go down to 14 here, and notably fetching up a basic here, which will, whether intentionally or not, insulate him from any Blood Moons. There's a Rhino. Tony going down to 13.
Rhino is pretty good Blood Moon insulation.
Look at how big the creatures are that he's played. Just like birds into as another Utopia Sprawl. Jeez. Tony can do some stupid things this turn.
He can produce 8 mana, right?
1, 2, 3, 4. Utopia Sprawl gains a mana. Can he Tooth and Nail and Entwine? He can play a Hornet Queen this turn?
That seems good.
Wow. That's not bad. So this makes 4.
He can play Hornet Queen and Utopia Sprawl, right?
Oh, Utopia Sprawl gains a mana.
Okay. Ooh.
So he's
3, untap.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
8 mana. Play Hornet Queen. Next turn, as long as Voyaging Satyr doesn't die.
He could play Garrick, right? And untap his land and his opponent's land? Yeah.
Ooh.
Go down to 5. So he had 1,
I thought
2,
he had
3,
8 mana.
4. No, he had 4 down to 3.
Yeah, 3. So he has 3 floating.
Oh, he has to untap. He has to target 2 lands.
3, 4. So Phil has run out there to run them back here. I don't think he has 9 mana. I think this is 8. Could be wrong. Okay. Tony wins. Phil can give us an explanation when he runs back here. How?
You miscounted.
How?
1, 2, 3, 4, down to 3, untaps it, then it taps for 5, goes to 8, goes to 4, untaps his land, that's 9. Tooth and Nail Entwine it.
You're right.
Good God.
Yeah.
He just won that game off 1 land.
He did. The one
Jesus.
land did a lot.
Yes!
This is what happens, I guess, when you don't kill the Voyaging Satyr.
Or you don't play Stone Ray.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't. Jackson didn't interact in any way.
No, I thought Jackson's curve was unbeatable.
Apparently not.
I was wrong. The Garrick netting 1 mana was pretty critical there.
It was pretty insane.
Wow. I had to let him know that
Garrick has to untap 2 lands.
Garrick must target 2 lands. It says untap 2 lands, not up to. 2 lands. This is only usually relevant in Death Cloud decks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does come up.
This is the first time I've gotten to see this deck, actually. It's pretty sweet.
You just go off like that. Like, when your opponent just doesn't kill... Your opponent doesn't stop you, you should power through most things. Just because what your plan is just so hyper-linear. And you have a lot of redundancy in the deck.
You do.
All right, Tony going to be on the draw this game. There is an Abrupt Decay in Jackson's hand, so he is guaranteed to interact more than before.
And a Thoughtseize. I wonder if he has the mana.
If he has... And Path?
Yeah, I don't think he had the lands there, actually.
His spells sounded basically perfect. So that sounds pretty poor.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? Jackson's going to go down to 6 cards here, see if you can find a hand that can cast spells.
Tony keeping here. I think this matchup seems great for Tooth and Nail, actually.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
agree.
Tony also has a Blood Moon in hand.
I think any deck that's not bolting his Arbor Elves is pretty good. I think like the thing he least wants to see is a deck is like a blue-white-red red control deck, basically. Like something that can go bolt your guy and then later cryptic your land.
Yeah.
Cryptic Command in general
Cryptic
seems
seems
just
insane.
so annoying. Like that's why I think the Blood Moon is also his big getcha card there.
I really wonder about Tony having Blood Moon in this matchup. Against the Birds of Paradise deck, it just seems kind of odd.
These Abzan decks don't have great mana though.
I guess not.
In general, at least. I'm not against it. Like, when I was playing Twin, I boarded in Blood Moon against Abzan every time. That's obviously not a great analogy, but, like, that's the last time I played Blood Moon.
You try to cheese them out a fair amount of time.
Sometimes, yeah, but, I don't know, you could just beat them in game one.
Sometimes. Occasionally.
If you had Inquisition of Coast like in your deck, you could.
Okay.
I did it the last time I played the deck, it was at an invitational, and I definitely did that in a match. Just like Inquisition him, he had Abrupt Decay, and I just jammed on turn 4 and killed him.
Yeah, didn't draw it.
Of course not.
Jackson here, unfortunately, taking mulligan to 5, it appears.
Ugh. Just not finding the right mix of lands and spells.
Yeah.
See if we can find something good here. This deck is completely fine off 5 cards, though.
It's okay. The curve is a little high. It does find...
Looks like a Noble Hierarch.
2 lands, Noble Hierarch, Voice of Resurgence, Rhino.
Yes.
Pretty perfect. I mean, you couldn't really ask for much more.
Nope.
I guess turn 2 Smiter would be better in theory.
Yeah. We'll see if Tony has an explosive draw.
Ooh, and draws Thoughtseize.
Ooh, so he can actually Thoughtseize and Voice here?
That seems fantastic. I mean, and then next turn if he draws Rhino, or land for Rhino.
Yeah, that'll be pretty powerful. You're sort of put in an awkward position playing against the Tooth and Nail deck where you kind of need to hope they have nothing.
Yeah. Here with Thoughtseize, I would be hoping to take a mana producer, I assume. Ooh, there's a Blood Moon.
Or you have to take the Blood Moon.
Like, it shuts you out of the game, maybe.
Yeah.
Tony also has no ramp.
I think you just instantly take the Blood Moon then.
Yeah, his hand's just really clunky.
Like
a bunch of payoff cards, but not much mana.
I mean, it's either take the Blood Moon or take Garruk.
Yeah.
None of the other cards are relevant. They all cost infinite mana.
Yep.
We have a Hornet Queen, Primal Command, and Tooth and Nail, all of which that cost just a metric ton.
The fact that you are guaranteeing Tony the ability to play Blood Moon on turn 3 seems pretty unacceptable, I think, for not taking Blood Moon.
You mean on turn 2?
Or 2, sorry. Jeez.
He's not going to have the Dismember or anything like that to kill this Arbor Elf.
Right.
I mean, I think, given the cards in Jackson's deck, I think it's extremely hard to operate under just one color mana source.
And not even black mana.
He'll never cast the Rhino.
Right. Which seems like his route to victory currently.
Yeah. I mean, it's tempting to not take Blood Moon because of the quality. Like it's just, it doesn't actually affect what you're doing, but
right.
I think Voice on its own is just far too anemic of a clock. Things will be really poor if Tony draws something like an Overgrowth, but he just drew Windswept Heath Return.
Opts to play that instead of the...
Yeah, giving away a little bit of information there.
Yeah. If Jackson wasn't sure if Garruk was coming down on turn 3, now he knows.
All
also,
right.
Jackson, did you catch if he hit the 4th land there or no?
He did not.
He did not.
Drew a
What
Path?
was that? Path?
You could Path in Tony's upkeep.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, taking away the ability to play Garruk this turn seems great.
Yeah, especially when you only have a 2/2. He could also Path his... No, he doesn't really want to Path either of his creatures.
No, he does not.
So Tony gonna fetch right now.
Presumably finding a basic forest, considering that he has Cinderglade in hand.
Mm-hmm. Finds a forest. See
Ooh.
Garruk come down here. Probably just gonna make a beast.
A wild Feingersh appears in the chat.
Oh, good God. About time. We didn't have enough trolls in the chat tonight.
Nope.
Garruk coming out making a beast. Oh, he's just gonna Path the beast. I see. Just so he can kill the Garruk. Downside here is that this means Tony's gonna be able to cast Primal Command this turn. His next turn, he drew another Rhino.
Each. Really missing that 4th mana source.
Well, I'll be the 800th person to say they come in packs. But they come in packs. Ooh. Utopia Sprawl was a very good draw. Utopia Sprawl going down on this land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now he has 7 mana. He could just play Hornet
Yeah. Seems good.
I think it's good. I don't mean to exaggerate here, but that seems extremely good.
Seems pretty unbeatable.
Honestly, though, just Primal Commanding a land, is that a beatable proposition? I don't think so. Primal Command your land, go and get go and get an Eternal Witness,
or go and get a mana creature.
Oh yeah, an Arbor Elf,
and play it because next turn then he can Tooth and Nail.
Yeah, whatever. He's a Hornet Queen.
Yeah. Got to find a 4th insect token here.
Bees!
If anyone... There was a period of time a couple standard seasons ago where Hornet Queen was really good.
Yeah, the Devotion Standard?
Yeah.
You mean the entirety of its legality?
I guess.
When was this card ever bad?
I guess it was good the whole time.
This card was just fantastic. I remember mowing them down with Silumgar tokens, though. Mowing them down with Silumgar felt very good.
That sounds good.
This card was whipped back for forever.
Yeah.
It was the top end in Devotion. You just hit it off of Genesis Hydras and stuff like that. A good time for all.
It's a funny card.
The Ghosts.
So unbeatable for some decks, and some decks just laugh it off.
The Ghosts of Standards Past.
Mm-hmm.
I lost this card a few times.
It's a 5 for 1.
Oh, yeah. Voice getting in there, immediately trading with a bee. Gets a token, a little elemental token, and then just another Voice of Resurgence. And now I think Tony's just going to go and... Oh, he's your another Utopia Sprawl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Tooth and Nail Entwine, and that's it.
Kill ya.
Tony goes to pick up the combo of Xenagos the Reveler and Emrakul and just one-shots Jackson right there.
Oh, yeah.
Takes it down. Hornet Queen is good. Honestly, really just drawing the Utopia Sprawls when he did were super important. Jackson missing those lands, a little awkward, and but you're right. I think fundamentally, this seems like a matchup that's favorable for Tooth and Nail.
Very, very favorable, I think, for the ramp deck. Jackson's, the clock he presents is not super fast.
No.
And the deck is not particularly disruptive at all.
Nope. That's the thing. Between this and something like an actual Abzan midrange. Abzan midrange has a much better shot in this kind of matchup because of the plethora of removal spells and Liliana the Veil in particular.
Yeah, a lot of discard.
Yeah, having 6 or 7 discard spells, a more Abrupt Decays to deal with those enchantments.
Yeah, main deck Abrupt Decay too.
Yeah, and then just really, I think Liliana is the kind of card that really excels against these kind of ramp decks.
Yeah.
Just running them out of cards puts them in a rough spot. Sure, Tony's deck is better at beating a Liliana in general because of being able to put the enchantments on one land, so you don't need to hit every single land drop. But being able to at least Abrupt Decay and Overgrowth or something like that, that's not nothing. Mm-hmm. A Jund deck also seems like a pretty tough matchup in general.
Yeah. I don't know. What's tough?
Bolt is good is my main point. bolting their mana creatures and then Liliana-ing them with backing up of discard and Bob seems...
Yeah, not having interaction for Bob, that seems good. Also, Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, Glyph just kills you. That's what it does. Garruk is a really good card against the Jund deck, but...
Yeah, you can pair Voice of Resurgence in this green-white deck versus Tarmogoyf.
I think it's better. How do we think the ramp deck will fare in the new Modern? I don't know. I think it's still fine. I think Remand is poised for a huge comeback, and this deck does not seem good against Remand at all.
No. I also wonder if there's going to be a lot of Cryptic Command.
Yeah, Cryptic Command seems even more obnoxious.
Yeah, Cryptic Command bouncing the land that holds these enchantments plus countering a spell or drawing a card, that seems tough.
I opened my binder. I took my binder out of the alcove I had it in. Blew the dust off of it.
Out of the cellar in which you crawl into every night.
Yes, and found my playset of Snapcaster Mages and Cryptic Commands, and I looked upon them, and I apologized.
You cried a little
for abandoning them. We're home. We're back.
Yeah, in Modern.
Feels so good.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess so.
I love Cryptic Command. I didn't get a chance to. I was not playing Standard when that card was in Standard.
I was on
so I missed out on that joy. But ever since I've owned the card, I've played it a lot.
Yeah, mine are pretty beat up too at this point.
Gravitated towards a lot of 4X Cryptic Command decks, for better or worse.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was mostly Scapeshift.
Okay.
Scapeshift was great for a while. For the small window where Dig Through Time was legal.
Oh, okay. I see.
I'm just saying, it was a very good Dig Through Time deck.
It's a very small window.
It was not large. Those cards were not legal for a while. I have also played Amulet and Lantern. I was the bad guy for a little bit. I can't help it.
Phil, very quickly, so he talks about these cryptics and snapcasters with a lot of gentleness. I feel like he's trying to woo them back to his side. I feel like they were also cast off very quickly.
I didn't have a choice. They weren't good. They weren't good for so long.
Some people tried. People like Dan Duan are clearly trying.
Now, yeah. I mean, they're good. They are good now. I'm not going to deny that. Weirdly, I honestly wouldn't. I'm so shocked because like Cryptic Command in the format where Eldrazi is legal is basically Fog Draw card.
That's good enough.
It is apparently good enough, which is surprising to me at all.
Yeah.
Look, just because I decided to be the bad guy a couple times doesn't mean that I don't have feelings.
Yeah, Phil is a bad guy.
Yes.
He feels bad.
Yes, I feel bad. I am bad. All of the above. All of the bad. All right. Should I go see if we have another match? I feel like we're not gonna have much matches that are still playing right now. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Thopter Sword is good, Ben.
Yeah, well, I'll be curious to see what sort of home Thopter Sword is best in. I have to assume that it's going to be powerful and played and in a competitive deck. I think it's less obvious what that deck will be, or decks plural perhaps, less obvious than what Ancestral Vision is going to do. It's like Ancestral Vision is just going to slot into every slow blue deck, basically. Thopter Sword seems like it's more niche. It might go with Tezzeret. Maybe that's not the direction to go, though. Maybe you put in like blue-white control. Could go in a decent amount of different shells, but it seems definitely narrower, I suppose. Yeah, Tezzeret sounds pretty fun to play. I will agree with that sentiment. Probably one of the most badass planeswalkers ever, and it's unfortunate that it hasn't really gotten its time in the sun in Modern ever, I guess. It seems like with the amount of powerful artifacts in the format that it would get to excel, but maybe now's the time. I know my friend Mark, who is one of the founders of this stream, has been playing versions of Tezzeret for many moons in Modern, and he's very excited about Thopter Sword being able to be slotted into that deck, because it seems like a fantastic late game. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, Thopter Sword and Blue-White Tron. That also seems like a pretty great mana dump. And also the pieces can be found off... Well, yeah, the pieces can be found off of... Well, I guess that actually plays pretty well with Thirst for Knowledge. You can just discard the sword. It's kind of neat. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be a huge shakeup, and it's gonna be interesting. If anyone, I'm not positive. When is the next Modern GP? Because I do not know that information, but that is going to be a very interesting tournament, because there's not going to be a ton of data to work off of, I assume, and I could see some real shifts going on after that tournament, whenever it is. Ooh, Charlotte, LA in late May. So 2 GPs in late May. So a little while to have a gap after the Pro Tour. Unfortunately, currently my focus personally is on Standard. Ooh, the Invitational, also a good way to show off New Modern. I guess Phil needs to get in gear. Those split format tournaments are just really hard to prepare for, especially this Invitational more than probably any I can remember in recent memory. Having 2 formats that are hugely shaken up and you have to prepare for both of them, that seems like a really daunting task. 2 constructed formats you have to prepare for. Yikes. I am not envious of Phil in that in that task. So yeah, so we are going to be moving into our 3rd round, I believe, very soon. I think we're in, no, was that round 3? That was round 3. I'm crazy. We're going to be moving around 4 shortly. Phil is out in the field looking for another match or looking for who we will watch in round 4. For anyone who is waiting in chat for more Magic to be played, I just want to give a quick spiel about what our stream is and when we stream. So we are coming to you from a store in Chicago, Illinois called MTGCardmarket, and Phil, I, and several other people, local players here, we do commentary for our Wednesday and Thursday tournaments. So Wednesday is Modern, that's what you're watching right now. 7:30 Central Time is when we begin, and we typically will play 4 rounds and cover all of them with commentary. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's great. And Phil and I usually aren't doing the Modern. This week is a bit of an exception, but typically we do Thursday, which is our other streaming day, and Phil and I do that almost every week, where we do Legacy. And that is certainly the format that at this point we are the most intimately familiar with. I think that's safe to say because we've watched so much of it. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing tonight, check us out on Thursdays. Legacy is a sweet format, and I think we do a decent job, making the format accessible even for people who are not experts already in the format. And if anyone has Eldrazi cards that they're sad that they aren't going to get to play in Modern, like I have Ugin, you can still play them in Legacy. And I think that deck's pretty powerful. And I think we're still seeing the proper 75 for the Eldrazi deck in Legacy being formed. I don't know if we're all the way there yet. Certainly the deck has already made its mark on the format in the one SCG Open that we've seen, but hasn't become quite the dominant force yet. And GP Columbus is coming up in June, and that is Legacy as well. I will not be at that tournament, but many of the locals will be, and Legacy is awesome. I love seeing it on display. So yeah, that is our streaming schedule, and if anyone's curious about how to support the stream or anything more about it, the best thing you can do, honestly, is follow our stream. We're still building up our followers. We had an old stream back in the day called Wooburg XYZ. This is no, what do you call it?
What do you call what?
This is the grandchild of Wooburg XYZ. The son, the daughter.
Child?
The child.
There we go.
Don't
Don't know why it needs to be gendered. In any case, no, we don't have another match.
Okay.
There was another match that was still... There was like one more match that was still going on, but they're already into Game 3. It was a Kiki Court against the Eldrazi deck that we saw earlier. Okay. Colorless Eldrazi. It was Vincent playing against Joe. Kiki Court looks like it was going to win. very soon.
Okay.
I mean, he drew a Chord, and he had Chord for 5 available, and a Kiki Jiki to get, and he could have copied Eternal. It was lethal in 2 turns.
Yeah.
So I imagine that was going to be enough to get through that.
What should we watch in round 4?
Good question. Yeah, so Vincent is playing Kiki Chord. Who else we got? Tony, we saw, is playing Tooth and Nail.
Ooh.
Yakov.
Maybe if Sam wins.
I always love making Sam go on camera because he hates it.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Sam, one of the employees here at Card Market,
Mhm.
always plays Jund in Modern.
Yep, he's got a wonderful foiled out Jund deck.
Fancy boy.
Yeah, very fancy. What else? Nick. I don't know if
Nick Wild?
I don't know if Nick Wild won or lost. Nicholas Paris, I believe, won. He's playing Merfolk.
Mm-hmm.
Fishies.
Z Fish.
A deck that is near and dear to your heart. I don't think there are any Coco decks right now.
Nick Wild is playing Amazon Coco.
Oh, he's playing Coco tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who. Oh, is he playing? He's playing Angel, though, right, in his deck?
Oh, you're right.
Is he playing,
so no Coco.
Is he
just
playing Coco
Chord?
then? I think he might be playing both. Like, just like one Angel.
Oh, okay.
Like one Angel and then playing Spike Feeder in his deck.
So just one, just the alternate win con?
Yes.
Okay.
The, as I like to call it, jam a bunch of non-synergistic combos into my deck.
Right.
I'm against it.
Just playing the Angel is pretty great with Kitchen Finks.
With anything. Just playing, you just end the sentence there. Just playing the Angel is pretty great.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, like, it is something to be said that, like, Archangel does let you win without, exposing yourself to graveyard hate.
Yep.
Which is a real problem. You're still pretty bad against, Grafdigger's Cage.
Grafdigger's Cage,
Such a
big
beating.
problem.
God.
Scavenging Ooze, pretty big problem.
Yeah, well, the Archangel beats that
Yeah.
heads up pretty easily.
It does.
But yeah, oh man, yeah. I think I was watching you play, and your Jund opponent went turn 1 Cage, and you
ended the game with 2 Cocos or a Chord and a Coco in my hand.
I think it might have been one more of one of those.
Maybe, yeah.
But
I won that match though.
Well, yeah, I think you boarded like an idiot or something like that, and then fixed your boarding.
Yeah, I boarded out
Decay?
Pride Mage.
And your Decay?
No, Decay came in.
Oh, okay.
I had 1 out to the cage, but I could have had 2.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and Connor in the chat, I believe that Tunneling Cat has the land count for a Legacy Eldrazi, right? I believe 25 is the norm.
Yep.
Jerry Thompson's list, which everyone's kind of riffing off of at this point, I think.
You can see some number of Simeon Spirit Guide in there as well.
Yeah.
Some Lotus Petals to help you out. Make sure that you always power out a turn 1 lock piece, even though you could draw Eldrazi Temple on turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to play a very powerful vintage deck in Legacy.
It does not. I don't think saying it plays too many for Legacy when there are other decks in the format that play well over 30 lands. As well as some decks that play 0 lands.
Yeah.
Legacy's a format you can do whatever you want, except unless it's bad.
Yes. I mean, don't play Belcher.
You can pretend to do whatever you want. Belcher stinks, man.
Yeah. I think Eldrazi is tier 1.5 at least.
I think it's tier 1. I think it's like comfortably tier 1. Any deck that has a good Miracles matchup is a tier 1. Like a good Miracles matchup and doesn't fold to random other stuff is a good deck to me. Is a tier 1 deck.
Yeah.
We should talk about how vintage people are babies. Why is there such a vocal subsection of the vintage community that doesn't want workshop restricted? What is the point? What is fun about your opponent having a Black Lotus every turn? To play cards that make the game less fun. Exclusively.
Well, you're playing vintage.
Vintage is so sweet.
It's sweet.
It is like, but like
the blue decks are sweet.
Well, it's all the decks. All the decks.
Except for the shops decks.
And Dredge. But vintage is just excellent. It just drives me crazy seeing the Lonely Sandbar. I don't know what you're saying except for oh my god. I personally I don't understand what's fun about Mishra's Workshop.
Yeah.
What's fun or fair?
I mean, if you don't really want to interact at all, if you'd rather just flop hands on the table, see who wins, not really make many decisions. Seems great.
I could read Duke or Jaco's article. Jaco actually plays at this store every now and then. Ben, you are a miserable person. Vintage would be... I agree. I think Vintage would be far more fun if everything was a blue mirror. I saw Reed Duke's claim that Workshop should not be... that Workshop should be legal. I found it tenuous at best.
Yeah.
You're Andrew. Andrew who?
Bowman.
Oh, you're Andrew. Andrew, I think you're so wrong. like insanely wrong. Maybe not insanely wrong. I very much... It's like obviously extremely subjective. I think that Reed's claim was not good. And
What was Reed's claim?
Mostly that it was a pillar of the format and that it deserves to be there for Vintage purposes.
Specifically Workshop?
Yeah. I think Workshops just make the form... just truly do not help anything in the format.
I mean... If it
just a black hole.
If it wasn't there, then the whole format is blue decks and dredge.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? That sounds awesome.
I mean, there's really nothing you can do to have blue decks not like.
The blue cards are too good. Force of Will is too good.
Ancestral Recall.
Yeah, all these cards are insane.
That's kind of what you're pigeonholing yourself into when you sign up for Vintage.
Vintage doesn't exist to play an equal balance of colors. Vintage exists to
will
play.
Never be good.
No. Well, green does cast Oath of Druids,
which is a blue card.
There's no part of Vintage that's like, oh, we need to make sure. There's no burn deck in Vintage.
You're not trying to balance the format.
No, really. you just want it to be you just want games to be interesting.
Yeah.
You just want to play fun. You want to play interactive Magic.
I'm never gonna play Vintage.
I built Doomsday.
Okay.
And it was
how many proxies?
So much fun. Oh, like over half.
Yeah.
I have most of the lands in that deck.
Yeah.
Just plays Underground Sea. It's blue black.
How many of the Moxes do you have?
Take a wild guess there, buddy.
Mox Opal?
Nope.
You even play that?
No. Also no. Some versions do.
Okay.
Some versions of some, but probably not. No, I don't think that what Workshops do to Vintage is a good thing, and I certainly don't think I'm alone in that regard.
Yeah.
But all the versions of the blue decks are interesting to me for the most part. I don't have. I only have a finite amount. I would play more Vintage if I had the time, but I really don't have the time.
Based on our drafting results from last night, maybe we should be devoting more time to Limited.
No complaints there. I'm playing a sealed PPTQ this Saturday.
Nice.
So I get to play some more Shadows of Innistrad sealed.
I hope you win.
Hopefully some draft.
Yeah. Or maybe they'll make you play the top 8 with your sealed deck.
That would be
pretty common at PPTQs, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
Not yet.
I
haven't top 8 a sealed one. I've only played one.
When has that happened?
I think it's pretty common if it's a small event.
I've never heard of that happening.
All right.
How could you not have a draft top 8? The only time that happened,
being cheap.
I would
be
cause
upset?
Cause an uproar is one way I would describe it.
Yeah.
Mostly because I want to draft. I want my draft.
Yeah.
I earned a draft.
Be Sam Ives versus Vincent.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. You don't have to...
Did you put him on, or are you gonna do it?
That's the first thing I read. I was like, who's the undefeated?
Perfect. Put him on.
If we have a need for a backup, that might be a good one. Although it might end really quickly.
Yep.
We have at table 3 we have Nick Wild on Abzan
Company.
I guess we can just call it Project Malira.
No, we can't call it
I
that.
really like that name.
I'm sure you do.
Versus Alex on Infect, presumably.
Yeah, Ben. The last RPTQ I played in was sealed.
Yeah, we both played in that one.
Me, you, and Beckstrom all 1-2 dropped.
Yeah, we left around 2 p.m.
Yeah, and Kent lost in top 8, playing his sealed deck. It would take more time, but it would be Way better. I don't care about all the other vintage players. It would take way more time for them to draft in the top 8, but it would be so much better. You could just draft, and whoever 2 1s or betters qualifies. It's that easy.
You could also just have that be the top 8 of non-limited RPTQs as well.
What do you mean?
That could always be the way that it's done.
I mean, I guess I don't think it matters.
It puts a lot of weight on one match.
Yes, it does, which I'm not a huge fan of personally, but
although that is
it's basically just making it into like a single
4 PTQ finals.
Yeah, which is fine. I don't know. I'm not super against that.
Yeah, I mean, putting a lot of weight on one match is not really a new thing for that kind of tournament.
Yeah, it just feels bad specifically for limited, because that's just like what no other limited tournaments are like.
1 round, 1 shot.
No, sealed top 8.
Oh, I see.
No other limited tournaments are like that. Like anywhere. All right. What is? I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know where Vincent is. Adonolfi, is that right?
Yep.
Adonolfi. Nailed it. We sitting down, we play Magic. What's going on here?
Soon.
Yeah, I mean, that's the bonus of that top losing in top 8 is that you get the re-invite, but I have to imagine that you would instantly trade that for a Q.
The thought did cross my head at the RPTQ that it would be pretty sweet to not have to go to any PPTQs for a season.
Great. I'm glad you feel that way. And then you obviously won one because you're so lucky.
I am very lucky.
So lucky.
And then I won another PPTQ because why not?
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's what you won.
Oh, right.
Because you're very lucky in general.
I am extremely lucky.
Seems great.
To have found Rally very early.
Or at least latched onto it really early.
Yeah. I didn't find anything, actually. I saw, what did I see that drew me to it? Catacomb Sifter. Yeah.
I think it was more Sidisi's Faithful.
Yeah, it was.
Ugh, what a bad card. Yeah, and then you won yours the week before, Ben. Yeah, wonderful.
That's great. No stress. Well, stress of having to win the top 8, I guess.
Yes. I gotta win this one this Saturday.
I would like you to.
Yeah, we'll see.
Then we can drive to Nebraska together.
Is that the closest one?
No, it is not. The closest one is Madison, which I am not going to be attending.
Why? It's limited.
It is limited.
Seems great. Madison's a great spot to go.
Other options for the Midwest include Louisville, which I would be open to, and Nebraska, which is 8 hours, but there were 23 people for the last RPTQ there.
There's no way that happens again, right?
Because everyone saw that number.
Yes!
Yeah. It was very weird because for the U.S., attendance was extremely flat. Everything ranged, it looked like from like mid-40s to mid-60s. Mm-hmm. But then Nebraska was 23.
Yeah.
Just half of anything else.
Ben, I have played limited PTQs in Madison before, and
competitive.
Haven't come close to top 8ing.
PTQs in Madison, period, were hard. Misty Mountain Games. Store had a lot of sharks.
I think I might have only went to one of those, but yeah, Madison has an extremely high quality player base. When I went to the last PPTQ I played in, the top 4 was 2 Madison versus 2 Chicago. And the finals was all Madison.
Yeesh.
You
gotta love those rivalries. I love that.
Yeah, I like when that sort of stuff happens. It was like
grudge matches.
Lewis Kaplan and Dan Sacchetti, and then Gabby and Kyle Houtman.
Oof. Yeah.
And we got bricked by 2. It was the 2 people playing company won. One of them was not playing Rally though.
Ooh, Bant.
Yeah, and Bant won the whole thing.
E.
I don't think Sacchetti lost a match in the tournament.
Yeah, Bant.
It's a good deck.
Bant versus Rally was an interesting matchup. I think it's close.
Oh yeah, it's definitely close, but
of course this is a kind of a moot point because these decks have rotated. But what are you gonna do?
Kind of. Bant Company barely rotated.
Yeah, the mana's a lot worse.
I'm excited to see. I think the mana exists. I just don't think people have figured it out quite well enough.
Yeah, it's probably not ironed out yet. The awkwardness, like there just might not be the need for the 3 colors in a mid-range deck.
What do you mean?
Like, you might be able to get approximate power levels with more consistent mana.
Oh, I don't know though. Like, it's just so hard to get away from Jace and Collected Company in the same deck.
Specifically for Company, I think you need more colors because
Yes.
you need the best hits off of that card because you're confining yourself to a pretty small card base when you need powerful creatures that cost 3 or less specifically.
Yeah.
But if you're expanding your mid-range focus to include cards that cost more than 3 mana, maybe planeswalkers like Gideon or something, you can maybe start narrowing down your color needs.
Yeah. I think that deck is quite good. I know there's certainly some discussion. We've just been watching Sam shuffle here. Is this match started? I'm gonna go.
That's a great question.
I'm gonna go figure this out.
If anyone's curious about updating Band Company, there was an interesting article by Jadine Klamparens on TCG Player, I think earlier this week. And she had a very interesting mana base that had 0 evolving wilds, actually. And she was really trying to make the new Shadowlands as powerful as possible, having a lot of basics and a good amount of Battlelands as well. I'm curious though. I mean, I think the standard SCG this weekend is really going to inform a lot of the metagame that shakes out in Madrid at the Pro Tour. I'm sure that the Pro Tour will have even more refined decks, but it's hard to tell exactly what the metagame is reasonably going to even be this weekend yet. The format changed so much. The mana is so different. It's pretty hard to get a feel for what's going to be popular. Personally, all I want to do is play Thraben Inspector. I hope there's a deck in Standard that it is good in. I would also like to play Always Watching, but that's just me.
What card?
Always Watching?
Tangible Virtue?
Thraben Inspector.
Thraben Inspector's an alright card.
Sweet.
It's fine.
What are the players waiting on?
The round hasn't started yet.
Oh. They just have the pairings, but holding off on...
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Were you talking about all the bad cards you like?
I was talking about 2 cards.
There's like one good card in your deck.
Dahlia's Lieutenant.
Yes. That card is so good. Here's the problem. All the humans suck.
Yeah, Night of the White Orchid, not a fan.
The card is so bad. God, I hate that card. It's just a bear.
First strike.
Oh, great. First strike.
Finds blue mana for your Reflector Mage. That's not a bad card.
No, obviously not.
I tried to trim down on the bad humans.
Yeah.
You call them bad.
I do.
I guess I do have a lot of 1-drops, though.
You do have Town Gossip Monger. A lot of people are higher on Town Gossip Monger than I am. Yeah, Erdwall Illuminator, Ben, that's a powerful card. How many good dual lurkers, though? That's the question.
Gossip Monger might be a trap. I admit that.
I can't. It doesn't work out in my head.
It works well with Always Watching. Because you can attack and then flip it.
I get it. It means that... But that's just... never mind.
Ooh, if anyone gets to play Triskaidekaphobia in Limited... So I wasn't sure if that card was going to be good or bad at all in Limited.
I didn't try it when I had the chance.
I had it in one of my sealed pools at the pre-release.
And didn't play it?
I did not have it in my deck for the first game. I boarded it in a blue-black mirror, and it won me both post-sideboard games, and then it also won me several other games.
Oh, was this on Sunday?
It was it was the first one on Sunday.
Did you play, did you play through all of them? Did you play all 16 rounds?
No, I left after 2 rounds of the last one.
Okay, sure.
I was done. My 4th deck was my least favorite. It was just white-red, not great.
Okay.
Yeah,
White-red
pretty
doesn't
boring.
seem fun.
Triskaidekaphobia was awesome, though.
Triskaidekaphobia is a nice card. I
killed on turn 6. I untapped and they died.
Well, that's pretty lucky.
Yeah.
I know that I heard of a story where two of my friends tied the game.
Yep.
One was at 13, one was at 14. Untap.
Sinister Concoction?
The other one was at 14, so he was... So, and he's just
what
like...
pings?
Triskaidekaphobia. It's either gain a life or lose a life.
Wait, one was at 13, one was at 14. The player at 13 just loses. It says, if anyone... It checks life first, then it does...
Then it pings?
Yeah.
Oh, well, either way, they both died.
Okay. So they must have been at the same life.
They played the old Game 4.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Happens.
There it is.
Card sweet.
Good old Triskaidekaphobia.
Definitely try it in limited. It's great.
Each player loses. Okay, so it's symmetric. Okay, I didn't read this the first time.
It's the fact that you can go up or down and have control over it is really, really good. And it goes well with skulk creatures in black.
Yep.
Really well with the 1/3 lifelinker with skulk.
Farbog Revenant.
Yeah, the 3-drop also goes well with rats. It just allows you to control those small increments. Also, like...
Yeah, it doesn't seem that hard to execute.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty realistic that you could kill them when you untap on turn 5.
Yeah, the goal is just like don't die.
Yeah.
Like that just seems like the hardest thing to deal with is like not giving your opponent the shot.
Yeah.
To kill you. All right, we are finally. I'm going to reset our clock.
Good job, Phil.
Give both players the full 50 minutes. But we're going to see some Kiki Cord versus some Jund. How do you feel about this matchup?
Kiki Cord against Jund. Probably decently close, like most Jund matchups.
Jund is so rarely going to crush anything besides like Lantern.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that this is like a crush matchup. I think Kiki Cord probably has a pretty good game.
I mean, having a lot, they have, like while they are a 4 Birds of Paradise deck, they also just don't have that many things that die to Bolt.
Yeah, and things like Revelark can be
Revelark's
really problematic.
If it's even in the deck.
It might be in the board. Ooh, Vincent taking a mulligan here. One thing Jund does do is really punish mulligans.
Feels terrible. Feels real bad
To
dying
mulligan
to
and then get thought seized.
Maybe just once?
Yeah.
Usually more than once, I think. They usually have double discard if you mulligan.
Because why not?
I saw Sam did, by the way, have at least one discard spell. It's so hard. It's pretty rare you don't have a discard. I think they're signing the match slip as a draw. And just playing for our amusement because they are both the 3-0 players.
Yeah.
But we respect it.
Doing us a solid here. Giving us a show.
Get to see both our 3-0 players battle it out. We get to see some good magic, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Good, fair magic. These two players. I wanted them to try to go infinite, but this is a slow infinite deck.
It's a green-based creature combo.
And it's like not even like a turn. It's not like Abzan Coco, which can just kill you on turn 3. Like this deck is
kill you, quote unquote.
Infinite life you,
Yeah.
sure. Against Jund, that's a kill.
It is. Unless they try to deck you.
Seems hard.
Yeah.
All right, Vince, I'm gonna take a look at 6 cards here. Let's see if you can find some lands. Doesn't look very spell heavy.
It looks like very land heavy. Gonna keeps probably a spell on top. Inquisition.
Birds, Cord, 4 lands.
I have to imagine the cord is what gets. Oh, okay, all right.
Cord is it's nothing here.
I guess
It's so expensive.
if Sam doesn't have a removal spell.
I can't
Maybe it
imagine
doesn't
not
even
taking
matter.
I think the bird is the easy pick.
All right, fair enough.
There's a voice right off the top for Vincent, which he scried there. Let's see if Sam has a 2-drop.
My thought about taking cord is you just kill the bird at another point, but maybe you don't even want to bother using.
Cord is horrific if they don't have creatures.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is so insanely expensive. All right, Vincent going to fetch on end step, pick up some sort of dual land here. Sam has the turn 2 Bob, so Vincent is under the gun. I don't know, Vincent. This seems like a truly nightmarish start. Sam also has a Thoughtseize in his hand, by the way.
Yeah.
So we can just take...
With the Thoughtseize, yeah. Definitely taking bird.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, Phil.
Just saying. Just saying, Greg.
Play correctly, whatever.
You don't want your opponent drawing a 3-drop and casting it.
No, that's a fair point. Especially, yeah, knowing that you have the Bob and that you want that to be your second turn.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. All right. Sam passing the turn back to Vincent. Vincent going to draw for his turn. Let's see if we find... Oh, he just doesn't... I think he's just going to play the Voice of Resurgence here. Plays Plains. Plays Voice and ships it back to Sam. Bob Trigger takes 2, going down to 18. Finds a Liliana of the Veil. Not great versus Voice of Resurgence.
No. Nor is Terminate. And
Voice has always been great against this deck.
Yeah, it definitely pumps the brakes on the Bob.
He could just attack.
He could.
He has Kolaghan's Command.
Yeah.
So he could attack. I think attacking is like kind of nice here because if he blocks, then you just minus Liliana.
Yeah, he's gonna attack. Obvious block.
Yep. Vincent. Yeah, he's just like, don't even get the token. Pay 2 life. I think that's a Overgrown Tomb or Stomping Ground. Edicts Vincent, and it's back to Vincent. All right.
The grind.
Vincent draws, plays a taps Sacred Foundry, ships the turn back. Sam Thoughtseizes. We see 2 good draws there. Restoration Angel and Pian Kiran Nalar, along with this Court of Calling.
I think Pian Kiran is the take.
I agree.
Sam has the Resto covered with the Terminate.
Yep. And he's like pressuring Vincent with this plus here. He has to either pitch the Cord or pitch the 4th land that would cast Resto. Mm-hmm. So I think he's in a very, very good spot. I think pitching this Bolt is pretty great for him here. Oh, and he gets to play Goyf? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty excellent.
Jund is great.
When Jund is doing its thing, it's super good.
Of course, Vincent is on a mulligan here.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Vincent discarding the Cord, plays Wooded Foothills, and he's going to pass the turn back to Sam, just holding up that Restoration Angel. Sam draws this Goyf is instant sorcery land creature, the standard 4/5. Let's see if Sam wants to plus Liliana first. Doesn't. Attacks for 4. Dropping Vincent down to 15.
Sam does have to be wary of the Resto here. Keep a Terminate back in hand. I think Sam discarding a land.
Yep, Forest. And Vincent drawing Kiki Jiki. Vincent going to fetch here, going down to 14. He has no choice but to jam this Restoration Angel, even though Sam certainly has the removal spell for it.
Yeah, if Vincent can hit a solid threat, maybe something, well, P and Kieran off the top would be pretty nuts.
Yes. Yes. P and Kieran Nalar is just very good, although Sam having the Kolaghan's Command does mitigate some of the effectiveness of that.
That is very true.
Just this Goyf pressuring Vincent's life total is pretty annoying.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Sam, doesn't really need to do much.
No.
Putting it straight into the graveyard.
It's in play.
I don't think it is.
And then it's terminated.
I think it's dead. Yeah, there's Terminate. Vincent draws. Let's see if he finds anything good here. Looked like a spell to me.
That voice?
Nope. Just a pass back. Looks like is that a full art forest there?
Yes.
Looks like it is. A little bit of an extension there.
This? Oh, yeah. I think it's been altered.
All right. 4 damage more coming in from that Goyf. Liliana getting ticked up with Sam discarding. Oh, it was Orzhov Pontiff. Bolt. Passing back. I wonder if this is going to be a draw step, make you discard. Nope.
Notably, the Pontiff couldn't be cast there.
No.
No black mana.
Sort of one of the issues with that deck here.
Don't need to keep looking at Triskaidekaphobia, I
No.
guess.
I realized that wasn't relevant after a second. I think this is going to be 2 damage to you, get back Bob.
Seems great.
Would agree.
The grind.
Sam untaps, draws for turn. Ticks up Liliana.
Discards whatever he drew.
Pulse he drew, plays Bob. Attacks for 4, drops Vincent to 4. Now Vincent has 1 turn facing down a Liliana. P&K would be the only thing that keeps him alive here, I think.
Revelark.
Is that even good enough?
Not really. It gets back birds and voice.
No,
Yeah.
it gets back P&K.
Oh God,
I had that happen to me. That was bad.
that sounds disgusting.
Vincent going to 3 here.
Is this Kiki-Jiki?
Kiki-Jiki attack.
It's not scared. No, it's not Kiki-Jiki. This is Revelark.
That would be good. It's the best. I think that is his best draw.
Ooh,
Chord for 2?
Voice.
Voice does keep him alive.
Barely.
As long as Sam doesn't find a removal spell.
Yeah.
I think that's the
That's
only...
in Tutor's deck.
I mean, look through his deck. He does have Revelark in it. I saw
yeah.
it. Lone Missionary also keeps him alive. Nope. Well, yeah, it does. It does. Vincent pondering what 2-drop to get with this chord here. I think it just has to be Voice.
Seems like the best.
It's the only one that like beats the onboard edict.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see if Sam can flip a removal spell for this Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah. 2 looks. Decent odds.
I mean, this deck's just all removal, right?
Right. I mean, it could be more discard. That is one
Basically.
of the downsides of Jund.
Yep. You do have a lot of discard, and you do put your opponent hellbent a lot, but that's why you play
You
Liliana.
also put yourself hellbent.
Land.
And a
That-
Liliana.
that does it.
That'll do it, yeah.
Yep.
Down tick Lily.
Edict, play Lily, Edict, and kill you. Jund taking that first game there in pretty decisive fashion. That's what happens. Don't mulligan. Never mulligan. Right? That's the lesson you learned there?
Oh, yeah.
It's a lesson I learned. I like to think I learned that lesson a lot. Well, I wonder what Sam has for this matchup. Maybe something interesting. Probably something like Anger of the Gods. Oh my god, he has Blood Moon in his sideboard. What a psychopath. With the Huntmaster face up in his sideboard. Is that a Tristani? That was a Tristani, right?
Maybe.
I think he's just letting him know.
Oh, yeah. That is a Tristani Selesnia's Voice? Is that,
Oh, man, I don't
that
know.
the full name of that one?
I think you're right. Ooh, I forgot there's multiple shows. Yes, Selesnia's Voice.
Sweet.
4 mana, 2/5. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to its toughness, and you can populate.
Card was pretty unbeatable and limited.
Yeah. Yes.
Populate was very strong.
Populate was good for 6 mana.
Yes.
Although, no, you could Selesnya Guildmage, or what was the name of it? The green-white Guildmage, hold on.
Vitu-Ghazi Guildmage.
Vitu-Ghazi Guildmage.
I played a decent amount of that limited format.
That, so did I. It wasn't great.
It was fine.
Yeah.
You got so pigeonholed into the 2 color combinations,
Yep.
and there's only so many of them in each set, which is sort of an issue.
It's all about Golgari Longlegs, I'll say that much. That card was great. How did that card not have reach?
I don't know.
God, awful.
His long legs.
I watched a lot of Michael Jacob drafts in that time.
Uh-huh.
He often had Golgari Longlegs in his deck.
Often was playing Golgari.
No, man, you just play that card in any black or green deck.
Okay.
And it was always amazing. It always looked outstanding. That looks like it was proxied on at one point, whatever that card
yeah.
is. But yeah, Golgari Longlegs was just great. I loved that card. I played all the color combinations a fair amount. The only ones I really liked, I hated blue-white. I thought blue-white was terrible. That was the only one I didn't like playing.
Sure.
Blue-white was bad and green-white was overdrafted. That was
Yeah.
mostly my experience, but I tended to play blue-red and black-green
Nice.
the most. Scavenge was a really sweet mechanic. I like that
It
a lot.
was.
Especially like goofy stuff like scavenging on your opponent's unleashed creatures so they couldn't block.
Yeah, that's sweet. Pretty sweet.
Sewer
interaction.
Scavenger was, I think, my favorite card. Sewer Shamblers? No, Sewer Scavenger. The 3-mana 2-1 with Swamp Walk with Scavenge for 3.
I don't remember.
Drag Mangler. Good old Drag Mangler.
Very good uncommon.
Yes. I think often I ended up if I could cast Frostburn, if I got past Frostburn Weird, I was playing it.
Sure. That card was excellent.
Frostburn Weird, slap a Pursuit of Flight on it. 7 you.
Yeah.
That was my single favorite thing to do. Blue Red was obviously ideal for this, but I did that in Rakdos too. That was just Frostburn Weird. What a good card. I don't think I would have played Mono Blue Devotion if I hadn't played that card in Limited.
Because it was so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frost Premier is a great card.
How many times did you tap your opponents with Tidebinder Mage?
A lot. A lot of time you were supposed to board out Frost from Weird in there.
I always did. I don't know. Seemed
Boarded out like most of them.
I boarded out all 4. Didn't even think about it.
Sure.
Didn't think twice.
That's fair.
Getting Shriek Mod was just the worst.
It's not great.
Just couldn't win anymore.
I mean, you still have Devotion.
It didn't really matter that much.
Ooh. So Vincent has probably one of his better cards in the matchup in Courser of Crufix in hand. But
and as a bird. Is
I
he
don't
green
know if
mana?
he has green mana. He has Ghost Quarter Birds.
I don't
think he had a green source. Yeah.
Looks like both players going to go down to at least 6 here. Let's see if we can find put together some better hands. Yeah, the Courser is so powerful in this matchup.
Demands Terminate.
Yep.
Or Maelstrom Pulse, I guess. But not being boltable and providing that stream of card advantage is just
Critical.
fantastic. Yeah.
It's just, man, this was
This card dominated Standard in its existence.
utterly dominated. It was
always great.
It's the worst that can be said about it is that it really grows Goyf.
Sure.
It's kind of awkward for Sam in this match. Like Lightning Bolt is such a weird card in this matchup. It's so bad against anything but against all the birds, the non-Birds of Paradise draws.
Yeah.
But it's so necessary.
Kills Kiki Jiki.
It does kill Kiki Jiki. It does kill a Pian, Kieran, Nalar, which is not a great spot to
probably
be.
not what you wanna
Kills
do.
a Scavenging Ooze sometimes.
Yeah. I think so. You can check though.
Looks like Sam gonna mulligan quickly. I think he had a 5-lander with a Thoughtseize.
Yeah, not the best.
No, definitely not ideal. Looks like Vincent is happy enough with his 6-card hand. I wonder how good Cord is in this matchup in general. Cord is so expensive.
It is.
In matchups where they're just like spot removaling your creatures, it just doesn't seem great. I mean, he has some real stinkers like Orzhov Pontiff and Lone Missionary, so I'm sure he has something better. Looks like Sam is happy with his 5.
Pontiff does kill Bob.
Yeah, that's definitely happening.
Yeah, it's not much.
All right, just a Bloodstained Mire and a pass from Sam. Vincent doesn't crack his fetch. Does crack it now. See how much damage he decides to take here.
Wanted to draw the card off his scry there.
Yeah, looks like I'm not sure what he topped with it, but it must have been something good. Let's see if he's got a turn 2 Voice. Something like a Voice or maybe a Wall of Omens would be ideal here. Wall of Roots would also be completely fine. Sam gonna fetch right now while Vincent is shuffling. Pop that Bloodstained Mire for what looks to be a Blood Crypt. The hardest part about commentating about Sam's deck is figuring out what lands are what.
Yep.
It is. I think I've done it enough times that I'm a little comfortable with it, but it doesn't get easier.
If you were excited to see the plethora of shuffling leave Standard, don't worry, it's still there in Modern.
Yep, Modern's here for a reason, for the true shufflers that at heart.
Yeah.
All right, looks like Wall of Roots going to be Vincent's turn 2 play here as he passes back to Sam. Sam drew Surgical Extraction for the turn. Looks like he has a Damnation as well, looking to play a much more controlling game. There's a Twilight Mire and a Goyf. Wow, I cannot believe I recognize that.
I can.
Goyf just a 1/2 right now. Here's 3 mana for Vincent, and there's that Courser of Crufix. Doesn't find a land immediately, but does find a Pia and Kieran Nalar.
And has a land, and can also use this fetch to manipulate the top of his deck next turn.
Have to think he's going to be drawing this Pia and Kieran Nalar, though.
Yeah.
Seems ideal.
Yeah, seems great. And next turn, if he doesn't flip a land, maybe cracks the fetch then.
Yeah. Sam playing his own Courser of Crufix, revealing a Scavenging Ooze and a pass. I assume that Sam has no copies of Liliana in his deck post-board.
The card seems pretty poor in this matchup.
Yeah.
Damnation just seems way better.
Vincent is going to draw that Pia and Kieran Nalar, finds Birds of Paradise. Oh, that's a perfect card to shuffle away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seems pretty solid.
He does have Cord in his hand as well as that P and K.
Also has land drops to make in his hand, so like doesn't necessarily need to find a land off of Courser.
No,
obviously would prefer though.
Yeah, a land drop here. Although it's worth mentioning that he doesn't really want any land that doesn't tap for red.
Because to play the Pian Kieran.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I assume he's going to play this turn. All right, he is going to net lose 2 life from this. The fetch effectively being canceled out by the life gain from Corsair of Crewfix, just the activation of Windswept Heath, but taking 2 off the Stomping Ground. We'll see if Vincent can find a land off this Corsair. He has, Cord, Pian, Kieran, Nalar, Sacred Foundry among the cards in his hand.
Players both have Courser going.
It's just old standard. Oh, we got to reveal. They got to reveal.
I think they'll figure it out.
Come
They
on.
both have Courser in
Come
play.
on.
Okay.
I got it. Let me know if they catch it.
Now they got it. They got it.
Do you reveal a land?
No.
Okay.
Cord.
Pretty good one right there. All right,
Cord is pretty fantastic with Pian Kieran.
Oh, yeah. Not bad at all. And I wonder if Sam just... Oh, Sam has Kalitas in his hand?
Yikes.
Draws a Scavenging Ooze. Finds a Blackleaf Cliffs off the top. Probably just going to play that. Gain a life, go up to 20.
Yep.
Take his free card. Don't think he's going to play Scavenging Ooze this turn.
Nope.
He's got Surgical, which doesn't do a ton here. This Goyf is still just a 1-2.
Doesn't really want to commit more to the board. I think he wants the Damnation, right?
Ooh, so Vincent's going to end step Cord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is probably just a Cord for 3. Ooh, if he's going to go get Ewit, this is pretty excellent for Sam. He gets a Surgical to Cord in response. Oh, yeah. It's like, nope. Stop you right there. Surgical Cord.
Yikes.
That's pretty disastrous for Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vincent went for a bit of a greedy play here by...
Keranos.
Keranos! I think Vincent went for a bit of a greedy play here going for this Ewit. I think going for Restoration Angel would have been a little bit safer. He also, it's also completely reasonable he could have untapped there. All right, Sam, just looking at the sideboard cards that Vincent brought in. Looks like an Obstinate Baloth, a Hunter, Master of the Fells, and a Keranos, God of Storms.
No, Sam's just stacking Vincent's deck right now.
Or that,
Putting
yeah.
all the good cards on the bottom.
Vincent has to reveal his hand, by the way, here.
Yeah, he does.
All right, so we get all the chords out of Vincent's deck.
Sam writing down some of the unusual hits that can be found off of...
I think he's doing this. Yeah, he's just writing down. Is he writing down everything?
I think he's just writing down the weird stuff.
Yeah, I think specifically the weird stuff so he knows what to play around.
Should I go tell him that he has to reveal his hand?
I got it.
Go. Keep going. Bye, Phil. Alright. Oh, sorry, chat. We did not see him reveal, actually. Alright. Here the card gets flipped off. Oh my god.
It's a wooded foothills.
Gotcha. So the card revealed off of Courser there was Keranos, of course. Now we get to see if Vincent can find a blue source.
That Razorverse ticket is also... I don't think it's not gonna... Well, if I have to go out there and make them tap that Razorverse ticket, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Is it relevant? It is relevant. It lets him double activate.
Dear God. Yeah, Tom and chat, I do agree. It's probably not for the best to do that. Yeah, this Razor Verge. Razor Verge tapped. See Phil inserting himself into the match. As we saw, Tom, though, Sam was pulling those cards to the front because he wanted to write down some of the weird contents. In Yamadutai, the judge on the floor is...
It's not the judge's job to police players' activity like this.
Yeah.
It's
casual. It's low REL.
Also, the fact that I think the fact that
they already drew.
Yes, it has some effect on this. Either way. All right, Sam has, basically full control of this game right now. The fact that the path is on top of the library is pretty inconvenient for his Kalidas. Oh, he sees Keranos and Foothills. All right, so now this course is pretty big. It's a 4 power.
Yeah.
Enchantment, creature, instant, land. Vincent just going to take it, go down to 14. And Sam just going to damnation away all these creatures.
Yep.
Vincent with not much, no response to that.
But now does Vincent just get to slam Keranos?
If he has blue, I don't know if he has blue in his deck.
Isn't there usually like one blue land?
No, there's usually not a blue card in the deck.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he can only get it into play with Chord or Birds of Paradise.
Yikes. Yeah, well, based on his not instantly fetching, it does seem like there's no... Vincent, a player that typically plays blue-white control.
Oh, yeah, he's played a lot of blue-white control.
I imagine that he's familiar with Keranos.
Oh, yeah.
But not being able to cast it when you have 6 lands or 5 lands in play, that's probably a new thing for him.
Sam cracking a Verdant Catacombs?
Sure.
Yeah. Verdant Catacombs, picking up a basic forest on end step.
Based on the length of the name, I am confident that you're right.
All right. Sam untaps, draws. He knows if he plays Kalidas here, it's just going to die. Oh, Thoughtseize was a good draw. Do you think he just takes the Keranos anyways? Yeah, that's what I thought. He's going to take the Path to Exile just to make sure this Kalidas is safe.
Vincent demonstrated that the Foothills is not casting the Keranos.
Ooh, Scavenging Ooze is going to actually come in here, and there's a Voice of Resurgence. And Scavenging Ooze is going to dominate this guy.
Yep.
He's like, no activation? Sam end step going to eat Pia and Kieran Nalar. And Eternal Witness. Putting Sam up to 19. Got a 4/4 Ooze now. Oh, and now we get to go Kalidas attack. This is pretty... Oh, and the Bolt.
And it gets exiled.
That's exiled. It's like, nope, you don't get that. None of this happens. It's exiled. I don't think Vincent has actually read Kalidas. Oh, boy.
Standard cards.
Ooze in for 4. Now I think we're to the point of no return.
I did not think Sam was going to win this game.
Damnation.
Keranos looked pretty bad.
Wall of Roots. Right on time.
That doesn't cast Keranos.
Not even a little bit. Now it's just Sam jamming with his creatures 2 turns in a row.
Yep.
Oh, he blocks. He's just going to sack a zombie.
He is. So could have sacked the 2/2 to avoid this. I don't think the Wall of Roots is really doing much, though.
No. All right, so Sam going to gain 5 from this.
So Kalidas is now a 5/6 lifelinker, and since it ate Wall of Roots in combat and gets to exile it, it feeds itself.
Kalidas is nuts, man. Kalidas is a really, really powerful card.
It's very good.
I want to play that card in Modern. Anyways, Sam Ives taking that one down 2-0. Jund over Kiki Court. Jund just looking every bit as Jundy as it always is.
Kalidas' best friend in Standard was Fiery Impulse.
Yes.
What if you get to play Lightning Bolt instead?
It's like
Christmas.
Yeah. I'm a lot of decks I've sketched out in Modern have had, like Grixis decks have still had
like one Kalidas.
Yeah. No, like I had 2 in the Grixis deck I put together most recently.
I guess it's a pretty good win con. Like good against your bad matchups like Burn.
Yeah, the fact that it's just like a slam dunk against Burn and it is in a 1-card hoser against Collecting Company deck.
Yeah.
Abzan they just don't ever beat it.
Yeah.
They just die instantly, right?
Just maybe like one answer in the main deck, like if there's like a Fiend Hunter or something.
And that is not reliable.
Yeah, against the Lightning Bolt deck.
No. In any case, that's it.
It's it.
Say goodbye, Ayavugan.
Yeah, we only saw it once.
Goodbye, Ayavugan.
One match.
Yes. But it was here.
It was here.
Lurking.
It won.
Yes. Vincent actually defeated it last round.
Ooh.
We saw it beat Dan. I spoke with Dan. I'm not sure if he could have won. I wonder if he could have won that game. He had the given how many resources he had, it seems like he should have been able to win that game.
The problem, I think, is you're so heavily reliant on Supreme Verdict.
I think so. If we go back to Dan's game, there were several turns where he just did nothing, like just did actual nothing.
Right.
If he was casting those cryptics, I think he would have been able, like bouncing like spell skites and stuff like that. I think he would have been able to actually leverage the Path to Exiles in his hand.
Maybe.
And
that was a huge problem.
Yeah, and like
dying with 6 cards in your hand,
That's-
maybe more.
Whenever that happens, you just feel like something had to have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you need to use your resources to win.
He
the game.
wasn't planning on getting 2 of his 4 verdicts hit by Oblivion Sword.
And you can't play around that. Like, this was not going to work out every time. But he thinks that playing the Elspeth was probably just a mistake.
Maybe.
It was tough.
He definitely got punished.
Yeah, in a way that I certainly neither of us expected. In any case, goodbye, Ayavugan.
See you later.
Next week, we welcome our good friends, Sword of the Meek and Ancestral Vision. Welcome to a good old world where Control is playable again.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. I'm extremely thrilled.
I'm down. I like blue in Modern.
I like blue.
Yeah.
But I really like it in Modern. You get to play all my favorite cards. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Just to give you a rundown of our stream schedule. It's every Wednesday we stream Modern here at MTG Card Market, 7:30 Central. Every Thursday, Legacy, 7:30 Central.
Yeah.
We'll probably be back on Legacy soon.
Yeah, this was a little departure from our typical weeks. Phil and I
It's true.
know a thing or two about Legacy.
Only
Try.
a thing or two though.
Yeah.
Although I can't do next Thursday either.
Yeah, I can't either.
Uh-oh, that's bad. Anyways, thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Come check out the Facebook page, like MTG Card Market on Facebook. Go
follow our stream.
Follow
here.
the stream here. Follow on Twitter. Take a look at the website. There's original content being put out by tons of really smart people. Jeff Hoagland, Stephen Mann, Emmanuel Suter. A lot of smart people. Anyways, thanks again for tuning in, and have a great night.
Bye, guys.